Attention viewer, you are watching the world's biggest monster truck diecast YouTube channel. This is Monster Jam OCD.
Well, hello world, and welcome back to the Monster Truck Collecting Podcast for episode number 16. This time, everyone's excited here. You can tell by Phil's huge grin, his huge grin, and mine as well, that we are about to talk about what we would consider, I think, as a consensus, as a unanimous consensus, that this is probably the best year for any diecast monster truck release series. So I'm very excited. And we all are. So we're going to get right into it. I don't think we really need much of an intro because we want to try to fit as much as we can of part one. Okay, Phil, go ahead.
Well, let's not jump into the trucks here. This is a very special year.
Okay.
It
is.
It's okay.
It is.
First of all, RJ, how are you doing tonight?
Terrible. It's like 1 degree outside. It's snowing. It's not great. It's not great at all. I'll get you an official. It's 3. No, it's -0. -0.
That's a thing. -0.
Yeah, well, apparently. I mean, I live in Oklahoma, so I shouldn't know that. But yeah, great weather. Anyways.
So yeah, let's talk about hyping up 2010. We always jump right into trucks, but this year's a lot more special, and we've hinted at it the last couple weeks. Where, you look to where we're at now, and we're so blessed to have Ryan in our community and be our direct beacon to Spin Master, especially, and staying on top of just all the toys. It's a big part of the community, and I know he reaches out a lot for community input and just a lot of feedback. And there's a lot of what we've seen in Spin Master that has come from Ryan's feedback, whether from himself or polling everybody here. So that's a huge plus. Well, many moons ago, we've had that involvement with Hot Wheels, and through the old Monster Truck Collectors Forum, Hot Wheels was a big part of that forum for so many years. And 2010 was the big year where they really spearheaded and took a lot of community feedback and put together this line, which is a big part of why this line has so much lore, because almost everything in this line comes directly from the community. So imagine when Ryan polls everybody, we're gonna make everybody was going crazy for Bulldozer. Okay, imagine that's one truck. Imagine 75 of them. That's basically what happened in 2010. It was insane. I was looking back at a lot of the old info as Ryan is showing.
It is.
That's coming out.
You got a tattoo on his back.
It's pretty weird. I was looking at a lot of this, the stuff that was coming back and things that they pulled on just to backpedal some of the past episodes. They did ask, would you prefer gray or chrome? And we talked about why chrome rim trucks were so prominent. Event-specific trucks, and that's what led to the World Finals trucks becoming, a thing. And they were asking a lot of times more event-specific trucks. They haven't really gotten anything like that, but it was something they asked a lot of people. Or limited exclusive trucks, where now we have so many of them, whether from the end of Hot Wheels or now with Spin Master, there's so many. Then talking about the special lines, and that's a big one with this 2010, where the segments where the shocks and hooks and undercovers, how can we fix these special lines? And they all got revamped for 2010. There's no returning line except for Spectre Flames.
Yeah,
that was from a previous year. There were originals, but now that they're their own segment. So that's all community involvement. Plus, some of the specific trucks and paint schemes that are seen here directly come from the community. I was just literally, what do you want to see? I want to see the Felon. Okay, here's Felon. We'll make it happen. That's how crazy the involvement was. It wasn't oh, we'll see. It's okay, you want that truck? We're going to call Mark Schrader and we're going to get Felon. That's how diehard they got for 2010. So that's my little preamble here. But actually, another small feature before we get going here, the trucks and package. So if Ryan can start pulling up the page. In the package, on the base of all the 2010 trucks, there was a little one circle on the base. RJ showing it on his in-package 2010 truck. See the little one? It's a little black tire circle.
Yep.
That is a precursor. That was also something they pulled. They were testing the waters with a lot of the exclusive trucks that they wanted to feature. And they did this coin system it was going to be a potential mail away. You cut out the little tires on the bottom of the bases, and you mail them away for some sort of special truck. That never materialized. Those little points are never seen again. And really, it's the precursor to what we'll talk about in a couple of episodes from now, the Walmart race rewards trucks that you got to scan receipts for. That's really what that coin system was a precursor for. So I figured I'd mention that now because there's actually no picture of that base on the Brian Z. Pant website.
We got it.
So yeah, figured we show that off right off the bat there. And then, of course, 2010 is the Flag Series. This is the first year that there was an accessory in the packaging, and it's been an occurrence ever since from all the toy companies. There's got to be something in there with the truck. The little flags, they're individually bagged like little cloth fabric flags. They're really cool. A lot of those designs, if anyone been to the Monster Jam World Finals, they would fly a lot of the flags around the stadium for all the competitors. Those are the same designs for some of these. So like the Gravedigger flag is exactly that Gravedigger flag that flew at Sam Boyd Stadium. Monster Mutt's flag was the same one from the World Finals. And some of them obviously were, like your Jurassic Attacks never had a flag at the World Finals because Jurassic Attack was ever in the World Finals. So they made up their own. These flags, I think they're almost everybody's favorite accessory just because it was like the first and they knocked it out of the park. It was so unexpected. I was asking around like what to try to remember why they even did an accessory, and nobody really had a remembrance. So somebody from way back in the day remembers, as Ryan is showing, one of the flags. Now that flag I think came out in 2012.
14 actually. This is the only one I have on my desk over there.
Yeah, because they did flags a couple times for some Walmart exclusive trucks, but that's exactly what the same fabric, same lifestyle. Yeah, but I couldn't remember why they started to do the accessory thing. Everybody loved it, so it wasn't any complaints. It was just I don't remember why they decided that they needed to put something more with the trucks, but it made this line so much more special because nobody knew that they were coming. And now, and I say that because it made a reason to buy the re-releases. There are not a lot of re-releases in 2010. I will say that right off the bat. There's a lot, even looking at the old checklist that Hot Wheels actually posted many moons ago on the Monster Truck Collectors Forum back in the day. A lot of trucks look like they're supposed to be re-releases, and then they come out, they're actually new paint schemes. So, through that, it's pretty interesting. It made a reason to buy everything. If I ever hit the lottery, I would definitely buy all of 2010 in package and have it on display because I think visually this is the coolest stuff in package, like from a main line. Obviously, all your exclusive trucks have amazing card backs, so that's not comparable. But for like a main line, this rules. That's my rant. I figured I'd get that out of the way before we dig into these trucks because there's a lot of backstory on this entire line, and I think that's for me sentimentally. This is a really special line.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally agree. Again, 2010 is like the apex of everything because, like Phil said, community involvement, that's a huge thing. Obviously, something I work on every single day, and it's very well prominent here. So that's awesome. Plus, the not expecting an accessory, as we all expect an accessory every year now from both companies. It's like, it's a thing now. But like then that quick shift from re-releases, not much community feedback, plus an accessory, all that changing to one big thing was pretty crazy. Of course, when we talk about 2011, it changes again back to that style of classic repeats. But 2010 really hits the mark here. So it really also shows, I just want to say, like Phil was saying too, it really shows how Hot Wheels can change when it actually involves the fans. Yeah. And as Spin Master as well, when they involve the fans, it's significantly shifted the line to be tailored significantly more to the fans and older collectors than it would have been if we weren't doing that. So this is really awesome, a very unique time for Hot Wheels Monster Jam, and we're going to hop right into it. So number one, a brand new repaint of a truck. This is the Bounty Hunter. Spectra Flames edition. So Spectra Flames are still going, and they will continue to go for a little while. Unfortunately, we don't have images of the flags outside of the packaging for each truck.
No, and just a sidebar, the old forum, we had scanned all the flags as well as the tattoos from 2011, and
I have a lot of those.
Lost in time. It's a big back burner project for one day, but
I don't have all of the flags, but I have a significant amount of them.
Right.
So we'll have to work on that at some point. But anyway, here's the Bounty Hunter. So you can see that blue Spectra Flame. Like I've mentioned with blue in the past, it's not the biggest change, so it's not the biggest shift here. In fact, it pretty much looks like the regular Bounty Hunter paint color. But there's Bounty Hunter. I'm not sure if this is a design change. I'll let Phil talk about that in a second. But it has a silver roll cage. And like we talked about last time, they started doing the diamond plate beadlocks for Spectra Flame series. There's the back, and there's the top. So, and there's that weird sunroof. So I'll let Phil talk about that now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the sunroof's really weird. We're showing it on screen. I'm looking at it on my other monitor. The sunroof part was kind of weird. I mean, I don't think Bounty Hunter ever never had a sunroof unless Jimmy rolled the truck over. So, there was never a sunroof. Yeah. But this is what I mean. The complaints that are going to be said tonight, it's really just being critiquing like a Simon Cowell. We do love this. This is a refresh of a scheme. So Checker Shucks Cragen is no longer involved with the team. At this point, CSK Auto is purchased by O'Reilly Auto Parts, so they are not even a company. So these are all paint refreshes, except for Iron Outlaw, which we'll talk about in our part 2 next week. These are refreshes to reflect that CSK Auto is no longer with the team. So a little bit of paint scheme updates there. The silver chassis is nice. Bounty Hunter never ran a silver chassis, but I don't think anybody kind of complains on this. So, no. But I will say, paint scheme wise, this maybe isn't the strongest Spectra Flame. To kind of really be honest, but I don't think people looked at it as a Spectra Flame. They just looked at it as a new truck, and everybody was so excited, especially seeing this as like the first truck of the year. But looking back on retrospect, I've said it in past episodes, anytime there's a new truck or new paint scheme of any kind, it should come out as a standard to start and then go down the line with the special things. Now, granted, this Bounty Hunter scheme is more current as like with the regular schemes. It's just not – it's still new, so it should have got a proper release. And actually, I just got a message reminding me that Bounty Hunter was a silver chassis back in like 2002, but that was not even – anywhere close to this, so kind of a weird callback at that point, but it's a really great truck to start off the year, though.
Yeah, I mean, the beads on these rims I like a lot. I like that Hot Wheels uses them. That's about all that line. Anyway, this truck was nice as the first truck of the year. The silver frame you don't complain about, and the sunroof messed with me in the Carpet League, or just the accuracy of it, but it's a new paint scheme, so I didn't mind.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, Bounty Hunter. Also mentioned, like Phil said, the flags at World Finals. This is the flag that Bounty Hunter would have at the top of Sam Boyd Stadium. I do miss when they did that. I don't believe they did it in Orlando, Florida. So that was a cool thing that Sam Boyd Stadium always had. And yeah, so there is Bounty Hunter. And number 2 is finally a new Gravedigger. So is featuring, as we mentioned last time, the start of the Neil Vandenberg redesign of the digital Gravedigger art. So it's awesome to finally have that. This is also precursor to when Hot Wheels starts to put the Monster Jam logos back onto Gravedigger, which it will do for their entire time with the line, which is actually something that Gravedigger, for the exception of maybe Fire Gravedigger, or I don't think that one had it, they don't ever run like a decal Monster Jam logo on Gravedigger because it's already in its tombstone. Hot Wheels felt the need to put their logo on top of a tombstone of their logo already. So that was the start of that. We'll also see, and this is going to shift soon, the decal process in a year or so is going to completely change the modern day grainy graphics. But you can see this is a decal sheet. You can tell by the black paint versus the black print of an inkjet printer, which Phil always talks about when they do the blues, blue Gravedigger. But yeah, this is a Mud Treads Gravedigger. This is actually a new series, which is all too familiar now. Mud Treads basically get the idea. They put mud on the body, on most of the graphics, and then they painted the tires. And This was an awesome thing. I think when they first started, with the exception of this truck and a couple others, they actually did mud paint. So it was kind of a rapid, randomized design. But you will see them, as this has, which is a bad example to start with, they will start doing these decal versions of mud, which will all look the same. But in their early era, they did use paint, which is obviously more expensive. But here's Gravedigger. So they got the headlights in there. The previous one that started this artwork did not have headlights, so that's cool. And this is also something that's very rare with mud treads, which we'll see in the following years. They don't often ever do it on the roof. So this is one of the rare instances where they did do some mud. You can tell that whoever did this artwork is actually using the same brush pattern every single time. So this is all the same, just like splotches of like someone just photoshopped mud on here. So it was cool, and you'll see it soon when they did do randomized mud spray. But there's it. There it is, mud treads. So, or mud trucks, and then it'll eventually be called mud treads. But Phil, go ahead.
Man, so I know Mad Rat might be listening. I know he's tuned in for a few of them. I know he'll claim his horn for this one for the whole mud the mud trucks line. A lot of people were customizing trucks to mud, and we talked about in the last number of episodes the amount of re-releases that would just kind of pop up. People would find excuses to buy re-releases, and they would just muddy them. And a lot of the mud customs were like ultra muddy. They were like just reeking in mud. So this is 100% fan inspired, knowing that, hey, we can do something different with this. And this is really using a lot of new technologies, the mud treads especially. There's just this is the first time they've ever really messed with the tires, right?
Yeah.
To this yeah.
Well, everybody sounds a little choppy here. So yeah, okay, I was just making sure. Okay, yeah, everybody just sound a little choppy there. I'm just making sure I'm not having a stroke. So, the tires were so special, and I think that was a real winner. I know as time goes on, people are like, man, maybe they should put more mud on those bodies, but the treads are just really popping, and a lot of customizers were just taking those tires, and then maybe they're muddying up the rest of the truck, but they'll rip the tires off and just call it an awesome custom. And it's a good excuse to get away with these chromes. You're going to see a lot of different colors in this year's line, but they sneak chrome in with some of these, and it's an okay excuse. As the year goes on, you'll see a couple different other colors here, but that's the chrome versus gray debate. Look, chrome wins a lot in 2010, but you're getting a lot more for that sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, this arguably, looking at the detail on top of the mud on the roof, could be arguably one of the best mud trucks. At that time, definitely was, because it's the first mud truck we see. For carpet or inside people using this on their carpet leagues, it was like a realistic look to a truck that rolled in your freestyle or mud shell, whatever. I liked it a lot, didn't mind it, and now we see it today also, so I liked it. And like I said, arguably one of the best mud trucks, maybe just on detail.
Hello. Lost me there.
Whoa, yeah, you look like you were.
It was like, whoa, there's two Ryans. Oh no.
There we go. I fixed it.
All right, well, that's it for Digger.
Yeah, so there's mud treads, and obviously something that we have for some reason. Actually, Hot Wheels hasn't brought that back, have they, for their new Monster Trucks line? Have they? No. But
no, I mean, they've messed with the tires in other ways, but this is the start of a lot of graphics for the tires and things. Now it's only really mud for like a good little bit, but like it's a precursor to really getting crazy with the tires. Yeah.
So there's mud. Spin Master did continue the tradition of mud, first starting with their Monster Dirt sets, and then of course this year with the Dirty to Clean stuff. So that was pretty cool to have that continue. But I wish Hot Wheels would do that again. But here's one that everyone's like, whoa. So this is the start of one of the most famous series of all time, alongside the originals, the Monster Jam Classics, the precursor to both the flashbacks, which will happen in 2017, 2018, and then, of course, Spin Master's Retro Rebel series. The collectors, this is exactly when they split up the year 30-70%, so 70% kids, 30% collectors. They always fit Retro Rebels and retro trucks into that for us. This was the result. I mean, that's why we have these kind of things now. So this is the start. A very basic truck, and people will be like, well, why would they do such a basic truck? But for collectors and people who know what this design was, it was awesome to see. So this is Blacksmith again, like I said, pretty basic, but it is awesome to have this one. I will let Phil talk about the history of Blacksmith because we did talk about it before, but this is the original. So go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, this is the original Blacksmith. Cheap plug alert. This week on the Monster Truck Outlaws of the West podcast, we're interviewing a former driver of Blacksmith in this design. If I tell you any more, I'll probably spoil who it is, but just stay tuned with that because this scheme is very basic. And the first original Blacksmith was just a black Willys with some decals. This one was the most basic. It was just a decal on the door that said Blacksmith. Yeah, from a visual standpoint, obviously not the most appealing of the Blacksmith families, but man, this really hit home for collectors. This was 100% a community truck. Hey, you have this tool. You've done all the other schemes because, guys, remember Whiplash didn't exist back then, or the Black Captain's Curse. And they really did all the Little Miss Dangerouses that they could at the time. But this was hey, this was an easy layup, and it was just so easy. It was you just need a graphic and slap it. We knew that Blacksmith was coming, and then I think when people realized that it was this one, it was really a big deal. It's not hard to screw up. I will say that the windshields is solid black on this truck. I don't know why that is. It's not like the Wild Things windshield that's like a see-through black, but you cannot see through the windshield of this Blacksmith. That's always something that's pretty sure that was always a weird thing. But even with this really small, it's for an all-black truck. They went in and painted the headlights and grill, so they didn't have to do that. So this is the Classics line is really community involvement. And they dropped the ball with it after this year, man. They had such a palette of trucks they could have done forever and ever, and it does not exist in 2011. Then you see some other cool old trucks in then and nows, but it's not this. And then the flashbacks come around. The flashbacks is just they missed it in so many ways. When you see the assortment of trucks that are in this classic line, it's they reach deep for some of these trucks. Some of them are ridiculous reaches that nobody they can't even do today, any of the companies. That's how far back they went with some of these. But this Blacksmith it's a simple one, and it's a silent sleeper. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, I'm mad I didn't bring it in here because I have my other favorite from this line from this year out in plain sight. I love the certain trucks, and this was one of them. I mean, I still remember Pablo beating Lyle and cartwheeling it into the dumpsters at World Finals 2 on pay-per-view, going crazy in my living room, and then to get it all these years later, man, it was so great finding this.
Yeah, classics are definitely one of the highest held Hot Wheels Monsters Jam series. And this is also, like Phil mentioned, when they have to do a retro truck, they have to really go back, and for some of these that they did do at the time, if we try to do them now, it would pretty much be impossible. So when I work and sit down and suggest trucks or lay out a list of suggestions, I have to be mindful of things that have maybe expired or things that are just so far back that there really is no owner to contact to make the truck anymore. So Blacksmith is not one of those. We can do Blacksmith anytime. Obviously, it's a Monster Jam owned trademark, but for some of these, you're going to see there's going to be issues that wouldn't be able to be done today. But it was awesome to have them at the time, and this was a great start for the Classics line. Definitely a classic, obviously. So there's Blacksmith, and also an awesome flag. I really also love the Blacksmith flag. So this is also a year where we got a ton of stuff, but this is a year where we start another new series, which is still kind of continued by Spin a little bit until this year. This is, and there's two variations of this one. This is the World Finals series. And of course, as we know, trucks, mostly independents, would have special paint schemes for World Finals events back then and still do now. Mainly Avenger is the most notable one. Bounty Hunter will do it often. And then Destroyer, when it was running, did do this awesome yellow scheme. And it was one of my favorites of the World Finals series back then. So you can see Destroyer changed obviously just to yellow. I don't think there's many graphic changes, maybe a couple movements of sponsors and logo placement, but there it is, the yellow Destroyer. Just an awesome looking truck. And like I said, that World Final Series, there's going to be a couple more that you see this year. But I will let Phil talk about that yellow paint scheme.
So go to the variation one. So there's two variants on this. It's like the regular roll cage, and then the one it's listed on our site. It says no cage, but it's just a shorter cage. They use it for a lot of the concept trucks that have a lot of 3D parts. This is actually the version that came out first. That regular cage version came out like at the end of 2010. That was always really weird. This and another truck we'll talk about in a second, the no cages came out first. Like I said, the regular cage one came out like one of those later like Mix R cases. Like it was like way late in the year. But I don't know why they did that. But besides the point, this was another fan-inspired line. This one really wouldn't have had a lot of legs because back in 2010, there wasn't a lot of like World Final specific paint schemes unless you just want to make a whole line for Avenger. And I've heard the discussion. Actually, we'll talk about Avenger in a little bit, so I won't, or probably next episode, so I won't spoil it then. But again, not a lot of material to go off of now, so this one wasn't going to last too long. But they did what they could with it, and this is a great example here with this yellow destroyer from World Final 6. Dan Evans is obviously running that crazy boat scheme at this time, but nice to get this destroyer. He had a couple of little destroyers around the day, like that inverse scheme that went under the radar, didn't get too much love. But the yellow one was a solid choice. Again, another easy one to do. You have destroyer. Hey, Dan, we're changing it up. Let's do an old scheme, all in for it. And here it is in the first case.
This was also him going backwards in a muddy World Finals in this one, right?
Yeah, World Finals 6, 2005 is known.
Going up over the big old box van in reverse, crazy move. Great truck. Great. I like this whole line, the World Finals and Classics, anything that goes back in time. I love that. So this one was great. The cage confused me back then, but never got the correct one. Only have this one, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I agree. So there it is, Destroyer from the World Final Series. And then we're going to hop into another very talked about truck that we've discussed many times before. This is the return of Medusa. So the last time we saw Medusa was 2005. It had that super rare variation with the extended cab, which this truck still has to this day on this tooling. So this is the return. As we also mentioned, Medusa, I think we've talked about this, but she doesn't ever have the same like thing with Hot Wheels ever, like repeat over and over. Right. So it's a one-time deal each time. So she just makes her trucks rare and rare. And when they're rare variations, they're extremely rare. So it's really headache for some collectors, but it's fun to have things to chase down. So here's the revamped Medusa scheme, very similar to the original that she ran with the white body back near the 2005 timeline. The way you can tell these two variations apart from 2005 to now is that they printed on the window. That's the main way you can tell. They also started printing on the A-frame, so these areas here. But the original one is very similar to this. I think they might have added more stars, more stripes. But
there's more stars. Yeah.
It's more. They added more to it to make it more exciting. She is still she's a two-time champion here on the tailgate, and she's still appearing on her own truck. I believe this is the last time we see her on her own truck as the star on there. I think it becomes the M in the next revamp. So there's that, and then there's that roof, and then I'll let Phil go ahead and talk about this one.
Yeah, so Medusa comes back at the last minute, right at the beginning of this kickoff the 2009 season. For any nerds out there, she's not even in the yearbook in 2009. So they were able to refresh the screen for her, and of course, easy layup. Yeah. Get her in the first case for 2010. Great move. Again, we've mentioned before, the same Medusa truck never comes out twice. We talk about that in length. I think the first time Medusa comes out, so that's 2002. So you want to go back to the 2002 episode, we talk about that in full detail. So one shot to get this more updated red, white, and blue scheme for Medusa on this body. That weird 4-pack or wherever in 2005. Really, it's 2004, the last time you get an even chance to get this. So for a lot of new collectors, big moment, big opportunity to get Medusa here. Man, I mean, for this is to a T. This is right on, spot on. Really, no complaints at all. This is a right truck across the board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I had it. You refresh the Carpet League. If you got the Carpet League going in 2009, she comes back. You're like, oh, I gotta pull my old Medusa out and throw it on the carpet. You got a new one.
Yeah. Medusa, fan favorite for sure for many people still. And next up, another new face. So like we said, not many new or not many old returning variations. So this is going to be a long talking podcast, which is fun in itself. So this is the start. Of course, Pastrana 199 is now out. This is the start of the Nitro Circus era, famously coined the first backflip monster truck. So here it is, or in competition. Here it is, the Nitro Circus. Again, starting with this paint scheme, and it never changes, I don't think, ever. So we just get this one kind of over and over. But it is fun. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is Cam McQueen driving this at this point. I don't think does Travis Pastrana ever drive this one, or is it 199?
Freestyle 1 year, yeah.
Okay.
So Travis debuts the truck
for most of it.
So he debuts the truck and he closes out the truck.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I think, like I said, Cam McQueen is the lifeline of this truck, and he's often kind of, besides Northern Nightmare, which is his new, well, until Bro Camino, his new identity. Nitro Circus is really one that I always pinpoint when I hear Cam McQueen. You can also see, this is again something that's going to change soon. They're still using paint for the differences in like bed color. So you can see that paint dripping there, kind of really bad paint. This is not one that should have left quality of the.
Yeah,
should have never left the factory. It was low quality. Anyway, I can't think of the name. But yeah, this is, so you can still see the paint. That's my point here. But this is not going to be happening in a year or so with the line. So we're going to say goodbye to these old tactics, these old expensive tactics, although they were nicer to see. But with that said, Nitro Circus is one truck that I always have loved, and I do miss it. And obviously, there's a lot of history with Nitro Circus, the actual, production. So I'll let Phil handle that one.
Yeah. So Nitro Circus. Okay. So it's kind of interesting about Nitro Circus of the toy. This is the only time the standard scheme comes out. Mm-hmm. So the next year we get it in a Spectraflame, and then it's that point doesn't even exist. So.
Oh yeah, right? That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Nitro Circus, man, comes out, World Finals 10. It's Pastrana 199 in racing, and then Pastrana comes flying out with it in freestyle. And everybody knew it was happening because Travis was signing autographs that entire weekend, and the body was just sitting there. And fans knew it was coming because it was in the yearbook, and then he did the stunt with it on his Nitro Circus MTV show that aired way before, like, the even season started. The hood of the truck that he wrecked in his yard in Pastrana Land is still hanging in the roof of Pastrana Land, because I know I've seen it. I've been to Pastrana Land, and I've seen the hood, so I know it's there. Yeah, Nitro Circus is such a popular truck. I remember way back in that time frame, everybody was making custom Nitro Circus trucks. About a week or so ago, I posted some old renders, decals on the MTC Facebook group. And that's where I saw a bunch of the old custom Nitro Circus graphics that people made. So that was really cool to see. This is a popular truck. It wasn't around too long. It wasn't long for this world. But this is a very popular. And I'd imagine the value goes up on this because this is the only standard Nitro Circus. And I think it's still a popular truck. Travis Pastrana is still a fan of Monster Jam. He's still kind of indirectly involved. He stays around the circles. So... I guess you can never say never, but Travis is the kind of guy, he does a lot of different things. Came out a 4-pack and 20. I do not know that, Levi. Well, nobody buys the 4-packs unless you're a new collector. So while I'm in a package with fancy cloth flag, you got to get this one. And just to prove that I was in Pastrana Land, here's a picture of me in my hot dog outfit at Pastrana Land.
Nice. Let's solo that. Hold on, let me solo that.
Full screen of that.
That's me. That's me, Travis Pastrana Land there. And
on the Monster Truck Collecting Podcast.
All right, that's me done bragging. RJ, what do you say?
I say I still got the thing in the package somehow. I'm very impressed by that. Was one of my favorite trucks. I love Travis Pastrana. Jealous that you got to see Pastrana Land. But I love this truck, man. It was great to see. This Mix A is arguably like one of the hottest, best mixes to start the year. Spin Master, I'm sure, will entertain us eventually. But this mix is just fire, and this truck is great. I love it.
All right, RJ, there's somebody in the comments. You have some explaining to do.
Oh, God.
Well, unfortunately, the person in the comments is not spelling it correctly. But are you or are you not related to Brandon Darrow?
I am not. That's funny because I wore my Letterman from high school to an Oklahoma City show he was at. And his dad was like, turn around. And I turned around, and my last name is Darrow, and his is Derrow. And he was like, what the heck? And we talked about all that. No, I'm not related. Wish I was, but it was very cool in the pit party that year.
Indirect family reunion.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, awesome. And then number 7 of 75 is a repeat. I believe this is the exact same thing that we got last year.
Instigator.
Yeah, you get a flag. That's about all you get from this one.
Yeah, don't complain here. Once we get past 10 here, we're gonna do a little bit of a brother check-in here. So you get another shot at Instigator here.
Yeah, I just want to point out that again, it's running the gray rims, and the truck does have gray rims, so it's a cool.
Probably see the Monster Truck Collectors logo on the real picture of Instigator. That was one of the many trucks back in the day that ran an original MTC decal. Never made it onto a toy. We weren't that cool, but a lot of trucks ran them back in the day, kids.
I believe this has also been seen before. I feel like I've seen this one.
Well, this is number 8, Pure Adrenaline. Now, you do your old spiel there, and we'll spiel and spiel and spiel.
Well, the Nitro spiel, it's the same scheme that we saw last time. Again, that decal to paint thing is not going to be happening in a year or so.
Yeah.
So white rims would have been cool to see here because the truck obviously is running white rims. Headlight printing also obviously prominent here. Would have been nice to have on here for a variation if Hot Wheels was doing those every single time. This is a cage variant. I'm sure that's what Phil wants to talk about maybe here. So this is the top row cage, and then we're going to hop into the no cage, which is not really the truth, but there it is. It looks so weird.
It only affected Pure Adrenaline and Destroyer, so that was always so weird. I mean, that was corrected by Mix B, and then they came back cases later and fixed these. So I don't know why they did it here. So yeah, you do see this truck in 2005, but here's the catch. Back then, Pure Adrenaline was spelt without an E at the end. This is the same exact scheme. Actually, I think on the newer pickup style, I don't know if they did it on this current one, but with an E at the end of Adrenaline. So, but that was a long time ago. 2005 is a long time, and that was a one-time truck, so this gives everybody another chance to get it. You get this a couple more times in different facets. So this is a cool one to have. Do have to correct. Somebody in the comments said Randy Brown should bring this back and let Joe Uri take over the name. That's not going to happen. You should probably check social media a little.
Hey, to deflect from that, me and Randy,
this ain't the love connection, but just gotta. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, RJ.
To deflect from that, me and Randy are very. I mean, every time he came to Oklahoma City, he remembered me, and then I think when I saw him after seeing him one year. Showed him a picture of us. Anyways, we got talking. He still owns Pure Adrenaline name that he told me at least. So, never say never. I mean, he's not doing anything right now. Maybe. I told him if he ever needed help bringing Pure Adrenaline back, give me a call. So, you never know.
Okay. Bunch of crosstalk there. So there's Pure Adrenaline returning. So number 8. And then oh, I can't wait for Phil to do the face here. So we have Donkey Kong back again. This time we got those. Yeah, there we go. Let's solo Phil. No, Phil, go back. Do it again. One more time. There we go. That's solo Phil. There we go. Okay. So yeah, pretty much a spot-on impersonation. So we talked about this an episode before. Was it 2009 or 2008? Some time ago. We talked about it. I think it was 2008 that we saw this for the first time, and I brought up a picture of Donkey Kong that was terrifying. It's just as terrifying in toy form. The only difference is from the real truck's frowning with those big eyes, so it's even more terrifying. But the toy got him. Obviously used at pit party displays with just fear striking hearts of everyone. So they did add him to the windshield. The thing about the Donkey Kong is that the windshield is not a plastic insert. It's just a black paint over the metal body. So they printed on it with a decal. We have seen them print on windshields before, and we have seen them do it recently as well, but very scarcely. So I'm not sure if, like what I'm trying to say is I'm not sure if it was going to be plastic as a windshield. I don't know if they would have done the eyeballs. But they did because it was metal. So there it is. The updated Donkey Kong is about all that you're going to get from this update. I can't recall if the cage, it is actually because the back's closed. So they did do the.
Yeah, that's a great example of the cage that they use for Destroyer and Pure Adrenaline for some reason, because it's exactly what Donkey Kong has used since beginning and end of time.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they had to sculpt it this way. They could have made it look better with the roll cage going.
It was
in,
that late sculpt. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were rushing.
Pulling off old design. So,
okay.
Man,
so
quick sidebar. If somebody says there's a color shifter Nitro Circus, no, there is not. There is a deluxe jumper.
Yep.
And I think like one of those weird, for sure, deluxe jumper. But anywho,
I have them. So yeah.
Yeah, and actually, we're going to talk about jumpers here in a couple trucks. But so yeah, this Donkey Kong, people bought it because of the eyes. Unfortunately, the real truck does not have eyes at this time. It had eyes that first year for a cup of coffee, 2008. 2010, I mean, Craig Christensen's driving the truck. It's on its last legs. It does not run after 2010. So, too little, too late, but it's cool to have. And maybe the eyes aren't 100% accurate because those eyes that Donkey Kong had were just kind of like dilated bug eyes. Instead, these ones are like full-on eyes. Like it's a little maybe the eye ratio ain't right, but hey, it's a cool one to have, and I'm sure everyone picked it up. Just have a quick little update.
Yeah, let me just grab something. I just want to show real quick the difference. Let me try to find what I was trying to find here. Give me one moment. The eyeballs, like you said, they're not very to scale.
No one's complaining. We're complaining now, but guys, 2010 was like so magical.
Yeah. No, I just want to show the difference.
It was like going to your senior prom.
Let's pull this up. Yeah, these are more friendly eyes. These ones are just like centered. Just,
that one's just like I'm a monkey, and this one's like I'm a friendly monkey.
Yeah, look at that frown. It always gets me, the frown of the truck.
Like he was he's so happy to be there.
yeah. So there it is.
I need to be go collecting bananas in the forest, not rolling over with. I don't. Go ahead, RJ.
All right, talking about animal trucks. Next up is Monster Mutt Dalmatian, another truck we've already seen before. Like I mentioned, as time goes on, it's building its name and becoming a favorite of the Monster Jam fleet over its brother truck, the normal Monster Mutt. And next year, is it next year that we receive the next Monster Mutt?
Yes, but
so, we'll talk about that one.
Quick pause here. RJ is readjusting himself. So 10 trucks into the year. There's the first case has 10 trucks to start off the year, brand new for the year. Only 2 of them are re-releases, which are the Instigator and the Monster Mutt Dalmatian. 2009, let's play spade to spade. 2009, out of the first case, there's only 1 new truck, and it's a Ninja Turtle Spectre Flame. In 2008, there's only 1 new truck, and it's Captain's Curse. So, first case of the year, 8 new trucks. That's insane. I mean, you don't get a ratio like that ever again, except for when the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks comes out for the first time and when the Spin Master Monster Jam Trucks come out for the first time. And that's only because it's the first year of a new line. That's the only reason you get new stuff, because this is insane. Like 8 trucks to start off the year that you have to buy. Bravo.
Yeah.
So you were saving your money all of 2009. Now it's gone. So
yeah, here it comes, and this is the first case, kids. I mean, it gets crazier. It gets crazy.
It's also nice the flag, like Phil mentioned before, many times the flag was at World Finals, so it's a really cool, accurate flag to have. So there it is, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Nothing new to talk about though, so we'll just keep going. This one's awesome. I always love the Spectre Flame, although it looks a little weird, the yellow. Here's Wrecking Crew. So Wrecking Crew debuted 2 years ago. In the line, and now it's here again with that same Hot Wheels designed paints or decal scheme, or what do you want to call it. The paint scheme, however, is this like interesting yellow color. I don't know even what to call it. With this, it's funny because it's almost green here, but we talk about yellow paint, and we'll talk about it in the future in the Spin Master episode. But recently, we had an independent pack canceled because the paint color wasn't to the liking of both trucks in that pack. It was Higher Education versus Brodozer Reveal the Steel, which is a color shift paint color. It wasn't this color, but it was another odd color of yellow. When you get into these weird colors of yellow, obviously it mimics something that isn't really pleasant. So I'm very surprised that they ran with yellow Spectre Flames just because of, well, at least this shade of yellow. It just is kind of odd. However, with that said, it's not like I don't hate this truck. I love this one. It's my favorite, one of my favorite Spectre Flames. But it is an odd color yellow. I feel like maybe a burnt yellow would have looked a little better than this kind of. Not going to describe it yellow, but there's Spectre Flame Rookie Curl that Phil takes.
You know what it looks like, but guys, this is exactly why yellow truck anything that's not standard yellow doesn't come out right.
No.
People like it because it's like this is what Spectre Flames are about. It's making the thing look different, and this is really different. All right, I mean this is by no means anybody's favorite Wrecking Crew, but unless RJ, is this your favorite?
It's mine. I love this one. I mean, yes,
boy.
I don't know about the favorite, but it's like the second favorite. It's better than the re-releases, the original, and then this one. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I mean,
you know, there's so many callbacks here to what Titan runs the scheme at Worlds and War Final 16, I think, in 2015.
Yeah.
That looks very. This is exactly it. And I think Hot Wheels does make that scheme. It's like the same hue of yellow. So this, I mean, that's that. But that's just what happens with the yellows. Yeah, you're gonna get that Spectre Flame look, but is it really the color that you want?
No.
I want to interject here. I want to show you guys what a normal Hot Wheels Spectre Flame yellow would look like, and this is why I'm kind of like, why would they go with this? This is what a normal. It's like a gold. It's like a fool's gold color, and I think that would have looked awesome with Wrecking Crew. Like that's a true Spectre Flame yellow. They went with an odd one. Maybe it's just because they were just trying to prove things. They have a huge line to work on this year. Things go quick sometimes, so maybe that's why. But this is what a normal.
A lot of because remember we talked about with the Spectre Flames, you know, you don't want to make it so the car collector thinks it's a chase and they're hoarding it. So if they make it's Spectre Flames, if you make this yellow look more disgusting, the regular car person will think it's something they need to hoard. I don't know. That's tinfoil hat stuff. So, but again, we're complaining. Nobody was complaining in 2010.
No, I loved it. I was like, heck yeah.
All right.
I just want to wish our friend Cole, who has an essay due in 2
so
hours, he decided to stop in. The best of luck. So good luck, Cole.
Good luck.
Cole, send me your essay when it's done. I want to read it.
I don't, but good luck, man.
Yeah, here,
I'm that serious.
Another mud trucks, and this one, maybe that's graphics as well. Again, we're going to see some with actual mud. I think this is a graphics printed mud though, but this is Maximum Destruction. Yet again in the old tool. This is it this year that it comes to an end, or it's next year that it comes to an end?
This is it.
This is it. This is the apex of Maximum Destruction's round body until 2017, which will get an unpleasant return. But this is Maximum Destruction mud treads, very heavy mud decals here. So it was very cool to see it. There's the tires. They got in some of the back here. Not on the front grille because, again, this is decals, so they're not printing. They're not going to just go print as Mattel doesn't do many times on the front. But they did get on the roof a little bit. I just feel like when they did the decal prints, they didn't quite do it right. Like, it'll be on this, but it won't be on the fire because they're separate pieces. So, you know, it's an early age. They're testing it out. They're not using paint yet. But the one thing is they did finally – oh, no, never mind. This is three-time champion. They haven't updated it yet either.
Yeah, they haven't updated it.
Still working on it. They also are using the red monster or Maximum Destruction logo here. It looks like the yellow one, but it's the red one from a year back and a couple years back. For the foreseeable future back then was red. But the coolest part about this is actually my favorite part, which is the flag. It's the true Maximum Destruction flag. So when I used to display them, that was one of my favorites. I just love Maximum Destruction's paint scheme of that time period. And yeah, so there's Maximum Destruction mud treads, or mud trucks, sorry. I keep calling them mud treads, a modern name. But if Phil has anything to say, or RJ, not much to say here, but go ahead.
Yeah, so a quick random sidebar. I just noticed you're using the red Max D logo on this package. Yeah. That's kind of weird. But folks, this is it for the goofy rendered Maximum Destruction body. Yeah, basically this disappears. I mean, it does sneak in for a cameo, but disappears, and everybody got a good teaser on what was to come. Because in 2010, Hot Wheels came out with the news segment of 164. It was like a whole separate truck deal called Deluxe Jumpers. They were like a man, don't make me laugh. Okay, a jumper trucks, like you press down on it and then it pops up.
Yeah.
It's like a whole separate deal. And I'm talking about it now because there was one deluxe jumper everybody bought, and it was Maximum Destruction because it was on the accurate new body. Now, unfortunately, So unfortunately, the tooling does not come into play until 2011 for the 164. I think the 124. Actually, I'll sidebar there in a second. So everybody got a teaser what that tool looks like. Everybody's going crazy. A lot of people bought the deluxe jumpers just to chop off the body and put it on a 164 just so they had an accurate maximum destruction just 1 year ahead of everyone. But also, quick sidebar, talk about the 2010 line and 124s. The 124 line 2010 gets a massive revamp. Right? Yeah, 2010. So the 124s used to be like this plastic, plastic with springs and real more playable. Well, they've changed the 124s to more of like the 164s, die-cast based. Still playable, but maybe not as durable as some of the previous 124s. They get a massive revamp here, and it's still the 124 format that Hot Wheels uses today. So that comes in 2010, and just a quick sidebar there. We'll talk about, actually, I think in a second, another 124. Go ahead.
You can go to the next one.
Go to the next
Actually,
one.
one more thing I'll mention. This is something you very rarely see, and they do eventually start correcting it. The Monstrum logo gets a little covered here, which is a big no-no for marketing. So this is a rare instance where you actually see that happen. So there's a little catch there. So you will see that corrected in future editions. They will make sure to print the Monstrum logo over anything that's covering it. Now we're back on to the classics. So here is another classic for sure, the Cyclops. And we did actually see in Spin Master's first year, Cyclops return in the 3D eyeball form thing. But this was the original body here. So Cyclops was definitely a shocker for many collectors, I'm sure, to see it come out. It's also very unique because it's not any decal based. It's actually all paint. So all of these lines are actually stenciled. And this is all different paint colors, which is... So now when I look back at it, when we'll talk about this in the future, I'm sure, the split paint job Avenger from World Finals, whatever, if I can't remember, Hot Wheels always claimed it was too difficult to do 2 paint colors, but this truck's literally 3 paint colors, and that's kind of an odd statement to me.
They just didn't want to do it, just like how they didn't want to retool Team Mints.
Yeah, I think they just didn't want to do it, but this is a very rare instance of seeing something like this, and this technically is like a triple paint color, or triple split paint job. So it's really cool to see this stenciled off. It's pretty obvious that they could have done that now. But yeah, this is awesome. You can also see where the stencil didn't really align. You can see the blue paint underneath. The blue is the base, and then they put the white, and then the red. But yeah, really cool to see this happening. But the history of Cyclops obviously will be given to you by Phil, which I'll turn it over to him now.
Man, guys, this might have been the most shocking truck to get in 2010. Cyclops isn't even running at this time. It's nowhere near Monster Jam at this time. It's like Terry Woodcock is out of the sport at this time. Like this is like leaps and bounds. Someone like to get Terry. Now Terry's easy to get a hold of, and Terry's a great guy. Another plug to the Outlaws of the West podcast. We interviewed Terry a lot on there. This really was a massive shocker truck to get. I think people thought it was a typo. Did it mean Cyborg? Like, what? I don't. Cyclops? Like, is it an original? No, it's the legit Terry Woodcock Cyclops from the early 2000s, and we get it here in toy form. You don't get it again from Hot Wheels. Spin Master gets the more modern Cyclops. We'll talk about other Cyclopses in, like 2012. I'll call back to it at some point, but. This just shocked everyone when this thing came out. It was like they're in it to win it. And this is what I mean with the classic line. It's not like, classics, because we have Avenger, we can make every Avenger scheme. Or since we have King Crunch, we'll make every King Crunch scheme. Like, no, they're like classics. We're gonna call a guy you haven't seen in like 7 years. Like, that's insane.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, every classic truck is a win. I'm a classic guy. This thing, as soon as I saw it, I pictured him rolling it over in Crash Madness 2 or 1 or 3, one of those early ones that I had on VHS or DVD, both I have. But anyways, this was great to see. Great to see. Love it. And I loved when Spin Master brought it back.
Yes. So actually, Dylan mentioned it. I forget often because I see this truck all the time. The real truck actually did still have that 3D eyeball that comes in and out of the hood.
Yeah.
With this scheme, obviously Mattel's not going to retool their Chevy casting.
Yeah.
But when Spin Master obviously did theirs, and we'll talk about it in the future, they did do that 3D eyeball on the new body. But this one did have that eyeball feature. It was good enough for the time, and it still is good enough as a Cyclops. So it's very awesome to have that. So there it is, Cyclops. And then we have another returning casting or face, if you want to call it that. The new Hot Wheels Original Series is debuting here. And it's returning with this bus casting that we last saw maybe 2005 with Surf Monster. So Driving School is the official repilot, and I think it's actually the last time we're going to see this casting. It's going to happen again next year, but same truck. Driving School is repiloting that casting. And so you can see it's a really awesome scheme. I've always loved this casting. Of all the castings of the originals, I've always loved the bus. So you can see some awesome little Easter eggs here. Hot Wheels is obviously based in California, just up the street from me in El Segundo. So it has a California plate. It says "Watch out." That's a really cool thing too. Caution student drivers, obviously a play on people learning to get their license, which they're not often trained enough behind the wheel. So that's cool. And then playing off the fact that it's a bus, so student drivers. It's just really cool. They also changed school to be spelled with a K. So it's a great truck. I mean, they really did a great job with this. It's really Hot Wheels E, if you want to call it that. So you can see there's a very basic scheme, but it's very effective. And you're going to see next year, I believe, a variation of it, or maybe a year or so from now, with some grille and headlight printing. But that's about all we're going to see from Driving School. But I just love it. It's just such an awesome truck. So, Phil, if you want to go ahead.
I wasn't aware of that variation. That's pretty interesting. But man, okay, so the Hot Wheels originals come back here. Okay, this wasn't community involvement. It was kind of like Hot Wheels, like, okay, we're going to give you everything you want, but we want to throw a couple in too. And it was 100% welcome. Go back to our creepy 2005 episode where they littered the whole year with their originals. It was like just overbearing. This, you get a nice selection. And again, it was so many years since where, yeah, we do want to see a couple of these funky tools and get them back in motion again. The problem is after 2010, they very seldom they re-release some of them, or they only do like one. So it's kind of weird. But guys, School Bus is so iconic. This is a whole year before Higher Education debuts as a real truck, and obviously a couple of years before the toy comes out. So Big School Bus still identifies with every child anywhere, even kids that are homeschooled. They identify with the school bus, and of course you're gonna get one here, and it's a school bus. It's awesome.
I liked it. I liked seeing this series. It's weird because I used to argue like, man, then Hot Wheels with their new line need to bring back some of these. But then again, I think about it. I guess their whole line is a Hot Wheels original now.
So they should use this body. Like, I don't know what's going on.
That's what I want to see, though. I want to see some of these old molds, some of these old names. If they can't because of failed whatever, I don't see why.
They do use the two schooled body, right? That's
they
started using.
Yeah, but I still like this one more.
I know this one's a lot cooler, but I think it's probably because it's more so associated with the Monster Bus and Surf Monster. So,
oh yeah.
And we already know about all that fun stuff that happened. So yeah.
People were asking what it reads on the top there. It says teaching kids to crash and smash with care. So that's what it says up there on the fine print.
Took that one.
Tell you that, but all right.
Oh, sorry, Phil. I already saw that comment, so I was looking up like pictures with better reference image.
So yeah, no, it's okay. I'm just saying, don't pollute the youth of our listeners.
So there is Driving School. Again, we'll see it 2012 because it'll have the bad graphics with the new updates to the front.
Or 11, whatever. I believe you.
I think it's 2012 that we'll see it again. So there's that.
It's a new card of Driving School, but whatever.
Multi-pack. Next up is Airborne Ranger. We've seen this for years now, but this one's finally an actual scheme, like the truck's running, because the other one we're using is not a real scheme. Funny thing is, and I know Phil probably is going to mention it, I'll mention it, and then I'll let him talk about it. The 124 scale gets some love. It gets that new tooling. Dylan actually just discovered that a couple days ago and messaged me and was like, this exists. I'm like, yeah, sadly we never got it. But this, you can't really see it, but it's not that. It's like a whole...
It's a front clip. Yeah, it's like a whole different style truck.
I'll grab a picture of the 124. I'll let Phil pivot onto this scheme and talk about it, and I'll grab that picture. So go ahead, Phil.
Well, we have it on our website. So Remember we
hidden
124s. So yeah, Airborne Ranger. This is an accurate scheme. It's the fresh scheme. I gotta say, yeah, huge shout out. There's so many of those little sponsors on there. It's like all sorts of guys. Like I think there's like a grill on there. There's all sorts of local sponsors on this truck. So all sorts of contracts had to be signed to get every single one of those little sponsors, and they're all on here. Everybody was pretty pumped for this, especially knowing because we've had Airborne Ranger for so many years that we get just a refresh of the scheme. Now, again, they're not going to make a new tool for this Airborne Ranger 164, but since the 124 line was getting a complete makeover, perfect excuse to make a 124 Airborne Ranger with an accurate body. And once Ryan's dial-up gets going here, that's why I don't screen share anymore.
I'm not in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like I can either. So, yeah.
RJ, what do you think about Airborne Ranger?
I like when I got the 124, I was like, wow, Mattel, but I liked it. The 164 you had first, so I was like, oh, cool, new scheme, yeah, new scheme. And then when you get the 124, you're kind of like, oh man, y'all should have done that.
Well, we've lost Ryan in the pursuit of.
Oh no,
night of Wi-Fi issues. Hello, I'm back.
Hello. Do we have Airborne?
There we go. I was trying to grab before. Oh my gosh, everything all messed up here too. I was trying to grab this. This is what I was looking for.
I also like the 124.
Okay, load.
Little sponsors and like the scriptures on the back of the truck in so much better detail.
Yeah.
Come on.
Man, look at that.
There we go. I just want to show the first option. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so there's Airborne Ranger. My Wi-Fi still might be a bit choppy, so if you can't hear me, I'll let Phil talk. So there's a tailgate. Phil, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, like I was just saying, the details you can see on the 124. Like I said, all those little sponsors, you can really read on the 124 pretty good and read all the messages here. Quick little things like this was an all brown truck, and then the 164 was an all black truck. So that's why some of the Tampa, I look at the tailgate on the 164. It's all black with the printing, and this one's all brown. So, but this was really cool body to see. Of course, you're not going to get a 164, but if you're looking at an excuse to buy a 124 in 2010, this one was a good one. Ninja Turtle got really rare, but this one you had to buy because it was so cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So there it is in 124 scale. We obviously don't talk about those, but
well, yeah, only where they fit in. So that one's necessary. I don't think we're gonna probably segue to anymore later this episode.
Yeah, Western Renegade gets a little weird.
Yeah,
well, that's.
I just found that SUV under my bed cleaning the other day, and I was like, wow.
That one's psychotic. We'll talk about that when we get there. So,
but I think one last look. There's that tailgate in black, like you mentioned, the black front. And the rest of the trucks. So yeah, unfortunately, 164 still got completely robbed of a really cool looking casting. 124 still got a lot of love. 124 scale also gets love with the Avenger casting. They do update that and give it a full grill and a second window. However, we never do receive an actually accurate 164 scale Avenger. So this is a kind of an instance that keeps happening. And then we'll actually see it in reverse, where like I just mentioned, Western Renegade does not receive a Hummer tool in 124. It receives an SUV release, which is really strange, and then the 64
that's 2012, I think.
Yeah, we'll come up on it. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about something that's just the conflict of the night. And Phil has a story behind it.
So, utter madness.
We're gonna hop into utter madness. I actually remember finding both of these variations at Toys R Us. Of course, of all the places where my stories are at Toys R Us. My dad and I were hunting, and I picked up the utter madness with the big cow. And he goes, "But look, there's one with a small cow." And I go, "Can we get both?" He thought about it for a second. He goes, "Okay, I guess we can get both." So we got both that tape. But there's a lot of debate over which one's rare. And in my personal experience, the big cow is rare. And Phil will tell you in a minute why that could be. But here's utter madness. I want to mention that this is the first time we're seeing this new casting here. This is an all too familiar casting with Hot Wheels, especially nowadays. The dairy delivery body, which, of course, in Monster Jam days was scarce, and now it is most certainly not. So Hot Wheels classic casting is still an awesome casting. They have plenty of printing room, but I mean, it is used in every single series they can possibly get it into nowadays. And
You got those trucks.
yeah, I got them from Brian Spalding, but I'll get them on the website soon. But anyway, yeah, this casting's it's going to be around for a while. It's also Hot Wheels does not do this now, but they did do the whole detail here. So
wait, was that the Walmart snow trucks? I had some of those, Ryan. You could have got. I mean,
oh, I didn't know that. That's all right. Brian was nice on sentiment, but before I wrap it up to give it to Phil, I just want to point out a couple things. You're going to see the flames change also. Maybe no one ever noticed that, but I did when I was comparing them back then in 2010. The yellow windshield is also hard to see, but there's a yellow windshield in there. It's really cool. But besides that, we're about to see a huge graphic change. This cow is not going to be this prominent. On our second variation, which is also number 16, the small cow. And this is the more prevalent variation here with the bigger logo and the flames change to be more defined. So, Phil, tell us why a cow made such a big headline back in 2010.
I don't know if we actually know why the cows changed. Okay, well, so, all right.
The theory.
Yeah, Hot Wheels knew from the get-go. That's something they told the community, saying, hey, first cow that's coming out in Mix C, it's going to have a big cow. And then by Mix F, you're going to get the small cow. There was something with the copyright, I think, with the big cow. And I don't know how, like you think it's a Hot Wheels design, but there was something with the design of the big cow where they had to change it. So Mix C, and actually in a couple trucks I'm going to talk about a Mix story, which is pretty wild. But Mix C gets the big cow. Mix F gets the small cow. Then I think this comes out one or two more. The small cow comes out one or two more times throughout the rest of the year as a rerun. So to answer your question, what is the more rarer? It is the big cow because it only appeared in one case compared to the small cow that appeared in 2 or 3. But yeah, this is a welcomed original. I know we see it a lot now, but it's the reason why these big trucks, it's like the SUVs. Whenever there's a sponsored truck, more often than not, it's an SUV because it has bigger real estate to promote the branding. So that's why a lot of times, that's why in the Hot Wheels cars, they do so many special stuff with their delivery because you have so much more room to work with. So that's why almost every special Hot Wheels monster truck series now gets a Dare delivery because it's ultimate branding for whatever that line is. So Utter Madness is the first of many.
Yeah, I live around a lot of. There used to be a dairy cow farm to the north of me. I have normal cattle to the left of me. So I had a cat named Moo. So like this truck was great. My mom had a bunch of like cow stuff for the kitchen. So I like this truck. I have both variations and I'm glad I did. I didn't mind this one. Moo! Moo!
Yeah, always one of my favorite originals for sure. I wish that Hot Wheels would have brought it back. I think they're, again, moving away from these original concepts with Monster Jam just because they don't want to interfere with overlapping. But Dairy Delivery's casting, it does return, thankfully. Unfortunately, we never did see that Covert Crasher, Chill Out, SWAT casting come back yet. But we did see something very similar to it just recently, actually, a couple days ago. Our friend David in Germany found the new Monster Proportions food truck, which is really cool. But still not that,
I like the door opening. That's very cool.
Yeah. Can I just say, David, I'm sure David listens, man. I love that little Hot Wheels song. He tags all his stuff in. It's like some Euro techno thing.
And
makes me hype. I'm like, I already know what the post is, but I just want to listen to the song. So,
and if he listens, he keeps me up to date with all the new Hot Wheels stuff, and I greatly appreciate that.
I'm currently sleeping. He's going to pick out of this. All right, here we at here.
He is going to actually. Phil, it's funny. He mentioned he was going to listen tomorrow because it's too late in Germany right now, so he'll hear that. He keeps me up to date. That's how I keep the Brian Z. Patton website running with updates. I mean, it says truck and
media. You know how to do that stuff? Okay, we'll talk and post.
Anyway, yeah, okay. Spectre Flames returning again with El Matador. So this is a pretty noticeable change. It's like a I don't even know how to
this isn't listed as a Spectre Flame on the website. Oopsies.
Oh, that's weird. But it is a Spectre Flame. It's got a interesting. It's not orange, but it's not red. It's like in some weird land, but it's really cool. It's definitely noticeable.
Yeah.
So the El Matador Spectre Flame is really weird, where it's like you saw the El Toro Loco that came out the previous 2 years, where that El Toro was red, and then like that's like a very vibrant red on that El Toro Loco. This really isn't. So
Vince's voice there, Phil.
Yeah, but
I like my red paint.
Let's paint it red. All right, so. Yeah, so actually, I kind of like this El Matador. It looks very close to like the regular one that kind of comes out, but I think this is a very fun Spectre Flame.
Yeah, this one replaced the regular version in the carpet league for me and the outdoor league for me. I don't know, what would you call outdoor shows, like non-carpet show? Whatever. Anyways,
I never took my toys outside, RJ.
Well, I bought doubles for a reason. Dang it!
I was rich boy.
No, it's only child. Anyway,
yeah. So okay, Ryan pops back in.
I'm back.
Yeah, pretty much done talking about El Matador. If I could, I'll sidebar this now because I realized the cases get kind of weird with the numbering. So, actually, like full disclosure,
this case has got some heat in it, though. This case,
yeah, all these cases are good, but just a quick sidebar. So, like number 52, which we'll talk about the next episode, comes out in like the E case. So all the numbers got crossed, and one truck we'll talk about tonight is part of the reason why. But
I should have got Survivor. That's a good one too. Go ahead.
So here's Collector Madness. Everybody's so excited about this line. Imagine the mass confusion when mix C, D, and E all come out at the same time.
Oh my god!
Here's what happened here. So C comes out, and it's mostly found on the East Coast. Everyone's remember back in distribution was a lot better back then, folks.
Yeah.
Where it was like I found it and it was like I see it on the internet and it's in the store within a week. So everybody's finding it, then everyone's like, "What's going on?" And then like right when C was popping up, people on the East Coast or West Coast were like, "Well, I went to my store to find the C case and I found the D case." And they're like, "Wait, what?" So everybody was like, "What happened?" Like now everyone's like all confused, and then some people were going in there were like, "Hey, so I found mix C in my store, but now I also found mix E with it." Everyone was like, "What is happening?" So I remember I had one collecting day. Finally, they got it resolved, but it was like a 2-week span. All these cases were all over the place. It was like they were region specific for like a week, and then they were all in the same place at the same time. There was one collecting day. I kid you not. We drove to Target and we bought mix E. And then we went to a Walmart, and there was D. And then Toys R Us had D and E. And then up, and remember old Toys R Us had those old cubby holes on the top for stock? There was mix C. Yeah. So I spent so much money in one collecting day. 3 cases. Guys, remember, 2010 had so many new trucks. So it's like you weren't just buying like one truck. You bought the whole case. Yep. So like, all of a sudden, in a 2-week span, you just bought like 20 trucks in one day. It was insane. And so I always got a kick out of that. If anyone remembers that crazy distribution stuff like I do, that was everyone was like, "Why are they region specific?" And then it was like, "Why are they all here?" And then like Mix F came out like only a couple weeks right after that. So it was like, there's so many trucks.
Yeah, I have good stories from that too, because I remember you walking into Walmart of Lawton and seeing the same truck that's in this mix that's Gravedigger that wasn't normal for us to see, and I was like, okay, well, we got to go check Target, we got to check the other Walmart across town, and sure enough, I found just like that, all different mixes in one day. Man, it was such a great feeling.
Yeah, it was insane. Just a sidebar there because, like I said, I was trying to figure out where I want to tell that story, and then I realized the numbers get really wacky with some of the case assortments. So
we can go to the next truck, Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay. I just saw a comment that reminded me that I want to show something in the podcast. So let me try to find something real quick. Someone just mentioned that the drag bus from Hot Wheels 2021 has this new series called Paint Crush, and I actually think it's Spectre Flame. If I can find a photo, so give me one moment. Since we're talking about Spectre Flames, I figured I'd sidebar too.
Oh, is this that new the new drag bus from Hot Wheels Monster Trucks?
Yeah, it's the next edition of it, and I swear it looks like a Spectre Flame to me. So I just want to confirm that if I can find out how to do it on my.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Are you?
About time to started using some old ways.
I think it is. So let me just search this one more time. It was sold by Granite Toys, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. There it is. So this, if I can grab the link and bring it into this page.
My phone is right there.
Okay, so this is called Paint Crush, and that appears to me to be Spectre Flame paint.
Ah, man, get up the rim would be a dead giveaway, but it looks kind of close. How many?
That looks like it looks like it to me. The way, I mean, it's the only photo we have, unfortunately, but that appears to be Spectre Flame.
Can you give me the logo tab again? Oh, heck yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that might be it. They just don't want to call it Spectre Flame to make collectors go crazy, but I certainly believe that I mean, the candy color over the Zamac, that looks like Spectre Flame to me. So we might, as we were wishing, we were wishing.
Finally, you're talking about them needing to do old things.
Yeah. We were just talking about this last episode. They got to do Spectre Flame again, and here it is. So there's going to be 5 apparently of this paint crush, and that.
I'm curious what the others look like to really kind of determine.
Yeah. But this one definitely looks like it's starting off. So anyway, Spectre Flame sidebar into modern day times. And next up, number 18 is that same new Super Duty casting for Blue Thunder, which we saw debut last year episode, whatever you want to call it, with also that rare World Finals 10, which we'll talk about in next episode, World Finals 11. But they're still having that casting used. This is also a decal paint. So this might be, or a decal mud. This might be the reason why they changed to paint, because you can see the discrepancy between the mud colors was kind of pretty prominent there. There's like a dark color and then super light dry mud. But that beautiful casting still is around. And this is, I think, the last year for it. So there is Blue Thunder with that, if you want to talk about it.
No, I think we get it next year, but yeah. So the thing with the mud trucks, and like they're just kind of starting to repeat on themselves. Like, well, it's the standard truck, but they made it muddy, and I think they picked the right ones. It's all your fan favorites. They just did them all muddy. The Blue Thunder's just another one in the line, and that's that.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say about that one. So there's Blue Thunder. Oh, this one's a big one. So here we go. A very big classic that we never see again in the diecast world. Survivor. Yeah, Survivor is one of the really oldest originals from like the first time of the Monster Jam scene. I believe it was in one of the original video games with that Hulk, right? Survivor?
Yeah, it was in Monster Jam Master Destruction. I'm sure you're going to mention it, but I'll steal your thunder. It came out as an original Rev Tread.
Oh, that's right. It did with Mountaineer.
Original Mountaineer. Rev Tread.
Yeah. So this is one of them. Unfortunately, Mountaineer never gets that that diecast classics release, which sucks because one of my those originals that I associate to come from that video game. And Survivor did get it, but Mountaineer did not. Only a Rev Tread. But here it is, and all the glory it has. It's Survivor. I'll let Phil pick it apart. There's obviously some stuff on the tailgate and stuff if you want to talk about that. So go ahead.
Yeah, another one with a lot of little sponsors they signed up. I will say the graphics always came out to me blurry on this because it was like. It's like they got the graphic pattern off of like a dial-up computer and just didn't like do anything to fix it. So, like, it's like I see Texaco Haviland's on here, which is really weird. So is Martina McBride's logo on here, or Reba McEntire or whatever? Because that was like a weird sponsorship Chuck Jordan had with Survivor. One of those country music legends was a sponsor of Survivor.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I don't remember. I don't know if it's one of those logos, but anywho. USHRA logos on here.
Yeah,
logo is on there. But yeah, USHRA logos on here, so that's fun. This is another weird one where it's like, so Survivor ran like up to like 2007, I think. So with Chuck Jordan, obviously it's still around. Tony Canedo runs it and with different look and everything. But Survivor still runs around that point, but not in Monster Jam.
Yeah,
it's just another weird callback where it's like. Oh, we did that Rev Tread 10 years ago. Why don't we call Chuck Jordan and see if he wants to make a toy 10 years later? A strange callback, but that's why this classic line. Yeah. They came out swinging. They're like, we're going to give you Cyclops. Like, I know you asked for like a brand, like a King Crunch Retro. You're going to get Survivor. Like, whoa, even cooler.
Yeah.
Dude, I love this thing, man. Classics. Oh, the badge on there. Ooh, that badge. Gets me all excited, boys. Anyways, I love that.
Yes, some people, you know what? Not even going to go into it. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I had custom badge stickers made for all my
Listen,
vehicles.
the USHRA still exists. There, I said it, okay.
Yes, it does. Somehow, it's not the same. It's the brand now, not the badge, I call it. But anyways, love this truck. Just, man, classics. Can't beat them.
Yeah, so with my experience knowing that contracts, obviously they exist for a certain period of time. That's how we have things like Cyclops, Crustacean. That's how they can just pick those things out even though they don't run in Monster anymore. I would assume that Survivor had let's just say a 10-year contract, and that's how they snuck this one out. So they could have really had just like a master list and be like, okay, well, this is expiring, this is expiring, this is expiring. Let's just do these. and that's what they did them. Cyclops.
So I'm just going to run you over real quick because to think if it's still on a contract, it took 10 years to make it.
Yeah, that's what happens.
What are you doing?
Yeah, so
I mean, there's other contracts of other trucks.
I know. Yeah, but like that one's like just like, oh, come on. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. So I'm not going to complain. You know, Survivor is a true classic, and if anything deserves to be in this series, it's this one. So I'm thrilled that they got at least one diecast released of it. So yeah, Survivor's awesome, regardless of graphics quality, regardless of anything. It's just super cool. I love the color in the logo as well. It's just so awesome. So definitely one of my favorite flags as well because it's the same logo, obviously, on there. So there's Survivor. That was one of the big ones of tonight. And next up, another World Finals scheme. This is the King Crunch from World Finals something. Phil will fill you in on that one. But there it is, King Crunch. The only downside to this is that they use the regular King Crunch flag for its release. Yeah. But
they never made a retro Crunch flag.
Tell us, Phil, about this because I can tell that they took pictures of the truck and put them on here.
Yeah, it's another one of those with the weird blurries where like David Smith didn't have the graphics, so it's like, well, here's some old pictures I have, so they got away with it. Actually, I'm a little old and slow. RJ, this World Finals 5 scheme. Okay, yeah. Right as I said it, that Tyler, so it's 2004.
I knew, but it's all good. Go ahead.
A good purpose for that World Finals line. I think King Crunch did a couple. Maybe the more notable where I'd imagine this scheme probably ran past the World Finals. Spoiler alert. Same with probably that yellow destroyer probably showed up in a couple places, but. Yeah. For wear intensive debut purposes. That's the problem. That was always escape of the World Finals line. It was never really true World Finals, but granted, none of the schemes that are World Finals schemes end up being World Finals schemes. Case in point, Jim Kohler is running around town. He runs that scuba at or the Virginia Beach. He's got Avenger Fire back in action. He did Halloween shows with the Orange Avenger. Like you'll find. Folks, I'm sure you'll see a couple more in a couple of weeks. Okay, so like Kohler, as long as the body
bring back the Rusty, come on, bring back the Junkyard.
Yeah,
Junkyard's still my favorite, but
or like the Blue Cross Station too, but that's a whole other story.
He used that one for a throwdown though, but yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Is that it?
That's it. That's World Finals 5 King Crunch. He had a solid run. He finished 3rd or 2nd in freestyle that night. I think he was high top 5 finish. I believe. I could be wrong. Don't fact check me. I'm just going off of remembrance in this dome because that's all that's up there is just monster truck history. But I love this truck.
All right, so there it is, King Crunch. Awesome. Again, only downside to this one is the flag is not anything special. I'm sure again because they didn't have the graphics sheet, so they were just like, let's not make a blurry flag. So there's that. And next up is a very familiar face we've seen many times now, Taz. So there's Taz there.
Okay, run you over. This is number 21. This is only the 3rd re-release of 2010.
Yep. It's crazy.
That's insane. There are some lines where only 3 new trucks come out in 21 trucks. This one, you only get 3 reruns. So, wow.
And now we hop into a very interesting discussion. So Iron Warrior gets a new scheme. It's only released ever in the mainline singles, especially. So when I say that, this time it's Spectre Flames, next time it's going to be the new Travel Tread series.
Yeah.
The only time we get this normal scheme, spoiler alert, maybe it's this year, maybe it's next year, is in these Target Easter round card things. And that's
we'll talk about them. I totally forgot what those things are called, but
that's the only significance they ever had was that they got an Iron Warrior exclusive. But this was never done in the mainline singles with the normal body, normal chassis, anything. Only done Spectre Flame and only done Travel Treads. So we'll talk about that egg Iron Warrior later. But I absolutely adore this burnt orange Spectre Flame color. I always have. It looked great on this. It looked great on Black Stallion, which we'll see in the future. But here's the new Iron Warrior update. So last time we saw the blue. Previously, episodes ago, we saw the gray and black. So now we have this new scheme with this new mascot carrying some of the. Is this the original graphic? Oh, that looks like a Black Stallion too. That's why I said that. Never mind. So yeah, it's a new scheme. I'll let Phil continue. One last thing. It has the blue.
I know you're probably going to mention it right now. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. So there's a blue chassis, but Spectre Flame Iron Warrior. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, blue chassis. They went full boogaloo on this. It's insane. But this truck is one of the champions to where a new scheme needs to come out regularly before it gets the special treatment. This is one of the champions of that. Good luck, but this is a Spectre Flame everybody bought because it was a new Iron Warrior. I think it looked really cool with that burnt orange, and that the blue frame was really bizarre to have here. I don't know why that choice, and they always did that with the Iron Warriors, so it was kind of fun to have that. An A+ scheme, and just a random sidebar. We're not going to talk about Patriot at all in 2010, but Patriot and Iron Warrior uses that same font.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh,
surprise!
Wow. Never noticed that.
I think it's like some generic. I'm sure my buddy Anger knows about it, but
after looking at that VW bus from this year at a Mattel, can we get this orange color, please? Because this is gorgeous. Love this color. I agree. It should have got a regular release, but this is my favorite Iron Warrior that they ever made. Because, well, I mean, the Travel Treads was cool because I like stuff like that. But for a regular tired truck, this Iron Warrior is my favorite.
Yeah. So there it is, Iron Warrior, Spectre Flame, and we'll see it again with the normal release. But at some point we will, or when the Travel Treads, at some point we'll see that special edition, very rare release of Iron Warrior. Normally, another new mud truck here. This is the Avenger, obviously. Familiar face, still using decal. Maybe it's next year that they use paint for a season or two, but there's the decal Mud Avenger. They actually do print on the tailgate area, which very rarely we see that happen, and print a little bit on the front here with the mud, and then this top part does get a lot of mud as well. Again, this is not going to happen much more often, this covering of the Moss Gem logo, because that's a big no-no. But yeah, an awesome release. I think it's one of the best ones because it's Avenger. So there it is. And if anyone wants to talk about that, not much to discuss, but there's that.
Yeah. It's that neon green Avenger we talked about for 2009, how it was like a rarity. We'll talk about in the next part 2 episode the neon Avenger everybody bought in 2010, but everybody picked this up too, and it was kind of a tease, kind of like, well, we want the neon Avenger in more release. It's like, okay, well, here it is as a mud truck first, so it's like, but everybody bought it. Again, the classic trucks they pick for the mud ones. It's just the same schemes with mud on them, so can't go wrong.
Nope, you can't.
Yeah, Iron Warrior. Sorry, saw in the comments. Avenger, and now we hop into a brand new vintage truck. Or sorry, actually, we hop in. No, never mind. I saw vintage on Brian's website. The classics. This is a new casting, one that we're going to see a lot, and one that we're actually going to receive the start of, well, not technically, but the start of like the long card exclusives, which are called Race Awards. But there's going to be a Redline Club version of this, so it's going to have a huge history. But this is Gravedigger, they don't call it Digger 1, they just call it Gravedigger Red Primer. So Red Primer, but with a glossy clear coat with the Mattel release here. So yeah, it's an awesome casting. Not completely accurate. I think this is actually accurate before they did this double stack or whatever. There's a
I think the stacks are on the wrong side or double stack or something.
There's a whole back and forth with how that
remember
happened.
when that came out.
Yeah. But for its time, before Spin came around with their secondary edition of it, which is this one, this was pretty accurate. I also enjoy this extra bit of the window here, which Spin Master did that too. Never mind, they both did it, but I love that extra detail on this one. So yeah, this is the original Gravedigger before it was spooky, before it was blue. So yeah, there it is. So Moss Gem Classics getting this incredible release. I'm sure at the time, fans, I was definitely excited for it. Fans probably weren't expecting the primer.
Yeah, so. RJ has his in his hand. That's the truck he showed earlier off. With the,
I'm just holding it because I like it so much. It was such. I'm remembering back when I found it in the stores, and three aisles over heard me, Primer Digger, yeah! Like I was like so excited, man.
It was incredible, man. And it's okay. So like it isn't primer paint. We don't get that till the next year. So the first one is just like this glossy thing, but no one's complaining. No. You know how the community found out that this was coming out? So obviously this is one that community's like, hey, we keep getting that silver and blue Gravedigger everywhere. It's like in every video game, every tribute. It's like, what about this one? Like the actual first Gravedigger. So the old website Photo Bucket, remember that, kids? You used to have to go to Photo Bucket to upload your pictures. Then you can copy the link as a specialized URL with IMG to a message board, and that'll project your picture. wasn't saving pictures to your camera roll and putting it on Facebook. That's how you used to post pictures on the internet back 10 years ago on message boards. So, but photo buckets were all public accounts unless you were smart enough to keep yourselves private. Well, guess who didn't keep their photo bucket private? It was one of the guys from Hot Wheels. Like they kept the photo bucket open, and somebody went snooping in there. They're like, and they saw that e-sheet, the layout that we've seen so many times. I'm sure we'll show off at some point. The e-sheet for this red gravedigger. And they're like, look what I found, a photo bucket. And then, like within like a day, that photo bucket went private. But it was like, oh my gosh, we're getting this gravedigger. It was like it was mind blowing. This was a mind blowing truck.
It was so amazing, so great, man. It's just like, I mean, clearly, we know Spin has killed it, knocked it out of the park, and I hope we get a pre-red retro.
I was about to mention that. Let me bring that up while you talk about it, RJ.
Hopefully we get that, because that would just, woo, boy.
Scratch.
So for our fans who maybe not are informed on this, a couple days ago, Dennis Anderson did a photo drop or photo dump, whatever you call it, of his original photos, his only photos of pre-red primer Gravedigger. This is as far back as Gravedigger goes, and this is the one that he always talks about. He spray painted the door with the name. This is it. So I actually, or someone else had asked him, I also asked him the question, what color is this truck? It looks blue in some, it looks white in other photos. He just said it's a standard gray primer with rust and some black spray paint. So
this truck is going to come out. I'm telling you that right now, guys. Everybody, like, there's some people salivating looking at this thing. They're going to find a way to make this.
I'm working on the inside here. I want this one done. So I'm pushing. I mean, we have obviously this red one coming out many times. This is
I bet Hot Wheels never bid at this. Okay, this is like known. Like, okay, it's more prominent now because like it's a digital age and Instagram, and like the kids don't know about it. But OGs knew about this, but I think also the reason why nobody ever attempted this isn't the Gravedigger that's in the lore. And this literally is like the only picture that
until Dennis came around with those, this is the only photo we had. And I mean, how can you work on a truck with this?
You only had one picture for, but now more pictures. Ooh, the retro Rebel that we didn't know we wanted, that I definitely want now. Woo.
Especially with the cloth in the front to keep the grill clean.
Yeah, that's great.
Let's modify the tooling. I really think it's possible. Jordan works in
coming now, guys.
We got reckless trucks that have that rust. We can do this, and it's coming. Oof.
I think especially, well, I don't know if they can slate it for next year, which is the 40th anniversary of Gravedigger, but if it came out in the 40th anniversary of Gravedigger, oh my God. But
I'm telling you, put it, Phil told you, it's coming. I don't know.
Yeah, in my next meeting that I have, if that happens soon, before it like goes into the solid production year, I want to push for this as hard as I can. Jordan works miracles all the time with things from the past, recreating the Gringo's face to redoing, at some point, hopefully redoing Gravedigger 3. I mean, he attempted it. And then doing Grandma Gravedigger's artwork completely over the back doors. This is child's play, essentially. I mean, to do some rust patterns and the artwork on the sides, it's not much. The best thing, I'll pivot back and forth. It's not fully the same casting. I mean, this is not that. If we look here, Dennis actually mentioned it. It had the old truck bed still, the utility bed. So it's going to be in the like kind of middle of accuracy. However, I mean, I forgive that because I really want this to be done.
The bed side is like you can't really tell there. You can kind of tell there, and you can't tell in the front on shot. So like the generic people who are going to buy it aren't going to care, and the retro people who want it just want it for that OG Gravedigger door and the rust and the primer. And
98% of people don't even know this exists and aren't even know it's a real paint scheme or was a real thing at times. So it would be the perfect Retro Rebel release for a Gravedigger of all time. The other main accuracy thing would be obviously the smokestacks on spins. They don't exist in this original release or original run of Gravedigger. But man, this is history in the making. Obviously pivoting off of our discussion, I wanted to mention this at some point in time because Dennis dropped these photos and it was like, whoa, that's like crazy. The one disappointing thing is that like it's hard to tell what the logo looks like. You can see like a weird R and an A.
This was like World War II when this picture was taken. They didn't think toys didn't even exist back then.
Oh,
It's so hard to see.
All it is just hand painted Gravedigger, or he might have even got the. I don't know if automotive window chalk was a thing, but it looks.
Tyler Ramirez, that might be finger paint from the mud. That's not even perfect.
Yeah,
You know, I think
that's a rock he found.
judging by the fact that there's black paint, I think he mentions in that one of the DVDs of Gravedigger that he taped around and then painted it black and then took the tape off, and the bottom basically seen the rust and primer underneath that.
You need to watch the DVD for more reference pictures.
Yeah, this is just it's a difficult recreation, but I'm sure with Dennis's help, obviously they would always ask Dennis for input for this kind of stuff.
Done, boys. We can get it done. That's gonna be one retro. Oh.
Whether or not it's next year that we can try to like community force it in their face.
Yeah,
or
I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Well, it's happening. It's over. I just said it's done. So we're gonna.
I really want it. I also want them to do the window print with this.
Oh, that would be so just fan of detail and just.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back 11 years.
The next truck we're talking about has window printing.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, here it is. It's the first release ever of the Shark Reek, and here it is. So, Shark Reek will be a name that they continue to work with, which is actually funny. It's very funny because we talk about like Utter Madness and Driving School and Chill Out and all those other concepts they have. The only one besides Bone Shaker and maybe a couple others they run with in their current series, and Shark Reek is one that they still run with. They never went back to this design, which is kind of a cheesy design anyway. But this is Shark Reek, the return of the Great Bite tooling back in 2005, I think, or 2004 is the last time we saw it. Maybe one of those 2 years. So it's been a long time since we've seen it, 5 or 6 years, depending on what time I was off on. But yeah.
Doesn't this blue look familiar to something else we know?
Yeah, it's like the sky.
No, something else. Something that's like a tunny smell. Tuna? Okay, I'm trying to say that this
Hardly the fish?
Yeah.
Darkest?
No, I'm just saying. Never mind. Just go.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Talking about Megalodon, kids.
Yes.
It does not look like Megalodon.
It looks like Megalodon's stepdad.
Megalodon, maybe it does. Nah, kind of.
It does.
I'm not meaning it looks like it. I'm just saying they might have made this with something else in mind.
Yes, this is like Megalodon's like demented stepfather that comes over for Thanksgiving. So
yeah, with these weird.
This is okay. So this is a weird. This is always fun. The shark casting was always a fan favorite because of just being a shark. Yeah. There was multiple times where shark trucks are supposed to be a thing. Look at Robo Shark. It was supposed to be a 3D body way back in the 90s. But man, such a weird graphic when you look back at it now. The name Shark Reek's only on the hood. You got these like little guppy guys on the side, or like swimmers. So what's going on? Like,
I never knew what that was.
That's the tally of people he's ate. I'd assume.
And I don't think that's the same amount on the other side of the truck for some stupid reason. And then this thing's got like eyes. Like he's got eyes
watching you.
Actually, I want to quickly reference the 124 just for the clarity on that side panel. So
I don't know. Did we get a 124 in 2010?
We do. Maybe not 2010. Maybe 2011. Let's just peek in here.
Yeah, not 2010.
There it is.
Bringing that up is very interesting because you look at the spot of that and you instantly think V8 bomber.
Yeah, it is. It's very much reminiscent. So like, there's the.
They look like I've looked into this before. I think they're divers, like just an outline of a diver. Yeah. But that's
like a kill cam. So the 124's got all these sharp teeth. No, it has no eyes either. That's weird. But like the teeth are there.
I guess they're divers because that he ate. I guess because
I don't know.
Okay, I'm no fish expert. But like, what does the name? Okay, fish expert. Phil Fish Food. Here it comes.
Phil the fish eater. Fish.
Okay.
Okay.
What does the name Shark Reek mean?
Okay, so Reek. This is a debate we got into years ago, way back when. I was like, it's Shark Wreck, and they're like, no, it's Shark Reek, and then I was like, it's Wreck, it's Reek. Reek to wreak havoc, like to wreak intense destruction.
It's like a pun on Shark Reek.
Maybe that could be too, or Shark Wreck. I don't know.
Well, it's gotta be Shark Reek. Pun on Shark Week. There's another truck that we'll talk about next week's episode that has a goofball pun. but
I mean, it's kind of like they have a burger delivery truck now. We got Shark.
Name this, yeah. They should have named it something else. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't. I've never liked the name Shark Creek. It makes no. I mean, it makes sense if you have to really like.
They should just make it
in the carpet leagues. This ran Shark Wreck for like a month, and then I was like, "Oh, it's Shark Creek."
I'm sure every like 4-year-old learning how to like talk was like Shark Wreck.
Yeah, and it would probably make more sense to call it Shark Wreck, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's Shark Creek. Not the most exciting thing. We'll get some updates in the future, actually, like the 124 had, but not for a while. This is also not going to be a big part of discussion. This is our fourth repeat now.
Repeat number 4 of 2010. It's backdraft number 26. Out of 26 trucks, only 4 of them are repeats, guys.
So if you want a cool flag, there you go.
Yeah, it is a cool flag. I'll admit to that.
Well, here's another cool one.
Here's a real cool one.
Yeah, this one.
I always love this.
All right.
Okay, so arachnophobia. We saw that a couple years ago, or maybe like 5 years ago. Start off at least. I think we got a couple more times, but the standard Chevy white pickup truck has been evolved into a whole Black Widow 3D casting. On top of this interesting like Escalade.
It's like the precursor to like the standard pickup truck that you see, in my opinion.
It's so weird. Like the grill is huge. It's just it's a weird cast. I mean, not the spider's cool, but like the casting they chose to do underneath it is just
very interesting.
But I love it. I've always loved this one, and it sucks that like they never tried to attempt it in real life with that team. But Phil,
probably knows about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me just say before you spoil the party, the paint decals on here. It's very fitting that the water slides first appear on a truck about spiders. It's coming, folks. The bad graphics.
Yeah.
Yes. Now our moderators spoiled the party. Yes, Scott Anderson of Arachnophobia. This was supposed to be a real truck. Can you believe that? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's break this down. First of all, this is Hot Wheels hands all over it. This is a Hot Wheels design, 100%. You name Arachnophobia only appears on the hood and the tailgate. But the skeleton dudes are like the same little skeletons that you see on the real Arachnophobia. They just blew them up.
Yeah.
Man, okay. So when the original checklist came out for this truck, it says Arachnophobia. It's a standard truck, but it's a new tool. And everybody was like, new tool? Like, are we getting like a new Chevy tool? Like, what's like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, okay, cool. Then like this comes out, everyone's like, what? What happened here? This is like, what just happened? And, like, you get this gigantic spider. Like, it's like, what happened? You will ask Scott Anderson. He did have plans to do this. Just never got off the ground. I mean, the truck, Arachnophobia doesn't even run past like 2011. But then there's like a ride truck. Anderson's still involved. I want to sit down with Anderson one day and Scott Anderson ask him about that. And hopefully sooner rather than later, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you know what I'm talking about. But cool.
Good
big
stuff.
spider.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, I liked it. I like your little hint, nudge, nudge there. But I like the flag was cool. I knew this was Hot Wheels when I saw it. But the 124 was like one of the heaviest 124s they've probably produced. But this thing was cool. I didn't mind it. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So Tyler Ramirez also mentioning something with Scott Anderson. Scott was saying that he's already had a 3D body in the works from Hot Wheels. So really cool. Obviously nowadays, back then 3D bodies were kind of coming in, but not the way they are now. They're all 3D bodies mostly now. People like Star Creations, obviously, who do like the Kraken and Wolf's Head, they could easily knock this thing out. I mean, it's child's play to them at this point in time. They've done so many things. So if this were ever to come back, or if someone revamps the name,
I know he has a Facebook. Don't spoil it. I do other podcasts.
Okay, well, I was just guessing. I didn't even know. So
again.
Okay, 28. Here we are.
We have
number 28. Spike. So we talked about Spike. Was it last episode when it debuted? I think it was last episode. So now it's getting a Spectre Flame release, and it's just like barely noticeable. With that, again, we've talked about the black paint and the blue paint being very unnoticeable. It's got this charcoal black chrome or Spectre Flame, paint color, not very noticeable. Easy to miss unless you look at the beadlocks. So the one thing that's cool is the collar actually matches the beadlocks. So there's that, but not the most noticeable Spectraflame in the world, and probably often forgotten in the grand scheme of all Spectraflames. So, oh well. But there's Spike getting some love. That's the second team's, actually all three, except for Brutus, the 3 Team Scream trucks that they're running at the time in Hot Wheels have received a Spectraflame release. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah,
I like.
Not got much to say about this one.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, not much to say.
I mean, it's different. Those rims, now that we see them like every, the present world, but back then it was cool to see those rims, and I didn't mind it.
Yeah. Besides that, if you don't care about the truck, you get a cool flag. So there's that for you too. So there's Spike and another new mud truck.
What we got?
Hold on, I'm having a quick thing. So Phil, if you want to pivot to this real quick.
Yeah, here's Captain's Curse mud truck. Once again, folks, a classic truck. Just getting the mud treatment. They got it like clockwork at this point. Not wrong here. I will say the flag, again, those flags are all based on like the real flags that will wave at the World Finals. I always thought it was kind of cool that the flag was based off of like the roof graphic. Now, okay, the roof graphic now says World Champion, but it's like a different palette of Captain Curse. So always thought that was cool. I actually kind of like this mud truck a little better. I think the reds pop more with the mud for some reason. So A+.
Yeah, it was an A+. I always, after that, was it Anaheim or Oakland show in 08 where it was just a monsoon and Gravedigger comes out, you're like, oh, hopefully they'll make mud trucks like that, just completely covered. But I like this one. It's cool. They started to, if you look and notice, the tires are less and less muddy as we go on, which boo. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's a solid truck, and I liked it.
Yeah. So before I had to do something. So yeah, Captain's Curse mud. Still running with the graphics mud, but it's awesome. Captain's Curse is loved by most people. So there it is again, getting another release there in the mud trucks. So that's 29. And here we go. Honestly, out of all the trucks in this year's retros, there's some great ones and they really compete with each other. But this one's my favorite. This is a blast from the past because it was supposed to come out years before. High Roller is here. And when I saw this in stores, I flipped out. I was like, oh my God, they made High Roller. So I've always loved High Roller. I don't know why. It's very basic, but I've loved it. It's probably because it's tied to Las Vegas World Finals at the time. So I've just always loved High Roller. And to see it coming out in a diecast release or having it in stores when I saw it, I was just like, whoa. So yeah, High Roller. I'll let Phil talk about that because I know there's a lot to talk about with High Roller.
Yeah, so we talked about the original High Roller that was supposed to come out in 2005 in detail in our 2005 episode. Actually, looking back on some of the descriptors on that, it kind of it must be gone or something. It's underneath Tyler Ramirez banter. Anyways, so we finally get High Roller here. I was saying back up 2005. Apparently, there was a rumor that they were supposed to do a High Roller as a World Finals exclusive in 2005. I don't know. I don't know about the legs on that, but that's somebody just noticed today. Looking up some stuff, but finally get the High Roller. It's on like Donkey Kong, but it's so cool to see. This completely kills all the lore of that prototype from 2005. And another one where it's like, okay, it's in the World Finals line, but it's a truck based on the World Finals, but it's never even ran the World Finals.
The World Finals.
Yeah. So that was my gripe between World Finals but again, it's warranted. Nobody's going to complain what line it's in. You get a High Roller. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I'm just looking at it now, and I'm just so flipping glad they made this. I love this truck. I love another truck that's coming up that not a lot of people like for whatever reason, but this one, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. Oh, High Roller.
I do want to mention that this takes a little bit of a different approach from the real life High Roller. I think if Spin Master were to do it, we'd probably get a more accurate representation of the actual High Roller run at the time. I get why Hot Wheels changed it, which I'll show you in a second what they changed, because it wasn't relevant to the time period. But this truck originally, I believe, had "See You in Las Vegas, March something 2003,
and then it had nothing.
Yeah, and then they just ran nothing. So Hot
logo.
Guys, I talked about this
the
already.
best of two worlds.
2005. Okay, Mr. Ramirez needs to go back in the archives. It's in the 2005 yearbook. We showed it in that episode. Come on, fellas. Don't do this.
Come on now, fellas.
Don't do this to me. We've talked about it. Go back in the archives.
Guys, I'm a co-host on here, and I spent all day today walking around in my snow yard listening to last week's episodes. Come on, guys.
Come on, man. We got our audio only. In case you know that.
Anyway, I cannot find any good references.
I love all
High
our
Roller. Anyway.
They'll
They'll just have to trust me.
There's this one. Hang
so
on,
this actually,
what?
Here's that one.
Okay, actually, hold on. So this decal here is actually accurate. The hood said "See in Las Vegas." The tailgate is what changed often, where it had like the actual dates for the World Finals that this High Roller was like mentioning, and then they just painted over and just like this oval of white. So Hot Wheels decided, okay, let's not do the 2003 or whatever World Finals were advertising. Let's change that to just be "See You in Las Vegas, Nevada" from the hood. So I get it. So hopefully, if Spin Master revives this truck, which is I think it's trademarked by Monster Jam Feld. So if they do it again, I hope that they would make it accurately to mention the old World Finals that happened like 18 years ago.
Yeah,
but,
don't listen to Phil. Don't tease me with a good
I'm not
time.
listening to Phil.
Backwards Bob, they put "Here I Come." Even Spin Master put "Here I Come" on the tailgate. They're not going to do that.
Hey, Ryan, don't listen to Phil, and don't tease me with a good time. Show me.
I want to see it. Phil, why would they do that? Jordan literally just corrected to capital C on Currituck on the side of Gravedigger #1. So I think he'd do a 2003 tailgate.
I'm here for it.
People.
I'm here for it.
But anyway, High Roller, one of the best.
Let's make the World Finals 10 truck. Let's just get really weird.
No, stop that, Phil.
Oh, that's why Phil's mad. Phil's mad about the challenge.
This truck was truck of the year argument for me, anyways. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I put it in the truck of the year, even though people are like, it's so fun. It's history. It really is. I love High Roller. I just love it. I actually wish that they would revive the concept of High Roller someday. It's just so cool. I mean, they don't go to Sandboyd anymore in Las Vegas for the show for World Finals, but man, High Roller was just always so awesome. I love High Roller.
I'm here for
I would put it in my truck of the year running too. Although we have a huge lineup to still go through for next episode too. It is really one of the best. And then we have the return of Bone Shaker. So hello again. This is still, so you're going to see it in a little while, a year or two from now. They're going to change this motor and this front skeleton to be all plastic. So it's going to be this and this, all one insert, but not yet. So this is still that old casting. Same exact Bone Shaker from the previous release.
Re-release number 5. Number 31. Wow.
And another Spectra. So this one is a different shade of blue. So they have like 2 different shades of blue. One's a little lighter, which they probably should have done for the other ones too. This one's pretty noticeable. So Sudden Impact has a Spectra Flame release. We talked about Sudden Impact in the past. I'll let them share brief opinions on it, but not much to discuss here with this one.
Yeah, no, again, with some the Spectra Flames, you can't screw it up. We've talked about a lot of the blues. I think this one's a lot cooler because the Sudden Impact graphics are always very prominent, and I think it blends well with the blues. So A+ here, probably one of the better Spectra Flames from the year.
Yeah, I'd agree with that statement. Can't screw it up. I liked it. Picked it up.
Yeah.
And we will talk about, in 2011, a Sudden Impact because it has a more interesting story.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
That's going to be good. So here is Batman. This is another Mud Treads, and this is what I've been talking about, folks. Like everyone's like, when is it going to appear? This is the Mud actual paint on the trucks. So you can see this one's kind of odd. They're like spray, 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 spray. Sometimes it's like a randomized spray pattern. This one's like someone took an airbrush and went, but oh well. I just noticed that there's a USHRA badge for some odd reason. I don't know why I like how they try to cover it too. They're like, oh, we didn't mean to do that. So it's in replacement of the Monster Jam logo.
I never noticed that. That's really weird.
I didn't notice that either, but I just noticed that they try to definitely cover it. That's
RJ
interesting.
well.
Yeah. So there's that. It's really cool to see the Mutt though. So this is the start of that Mutt randomized Mutt scheme. And then the 2-time champion for Monster World Finals is now up there.
On here, but like we get the USA Today logo instead.
Yeah, it's then like they're like, oh, we put the wrong spec sheet on the side, so let's paint over that. But yeah, there it is. So a really cool thing. Obviously not very painted up here with the mud. A little bit on the hood, a little bit of overspray, but this is the start of the continuation of them doing mud with actual paint, and that's going to not last for long either because it's expensive to do. But anyway, Batman, if anyone has anything to say, there's not much else to talk about.
Just mentioning the badge is on there, and I was happy about the badge. Carry on.
All right, the badge. All right, so there's Batman.
Yeah,
and,
Batman.
All right, here's the moment RJ's been waiting for all episode,
yes,
all the podcast,
right
all the time. There it is, the one
right.
truck that RJ loves, Rage and Steel.
Love it.
And I'll let RJ lead this discussion. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if I should lead it. I mean, Pablo ran over Sting in the corner of World Finals 2 after he cartwheeled the first truck that I liked in this classic series, Blacksmith. It came out, burned it down. It was a short freestyle, and he blew 2 tires out because that was before beadlocks were really prominent. And if that's not a big enough moment for you, I mean, it ran on tour for however many years. Phil can attest to that. I just love me Raging Steel, guys. I just love it.
Okay, so as I was gonna say, yeah, there's this. I wanted RJ to get all the Rage and Steel out. So, yeah, Rage and Steel. Phil will tell you the story. I don't want to mess it up. I think it was debuted as like a replacement toss-in thing because something happened at World Finals or whatever. That's how it got its start. No. Oh, never mind.
You got it, and you ran away. So,
oh man. Okay, so okay, well, I'll let you clean up that story. But Rage and Steel, I recall this one very clearly. It was for my birthday, I think I got it, and it was one that I was like, whoa, I didn't know it was coming out either. And I remembered it from the old Crash Madness and all those other World Finals DVDs and stuff. So I was like, wow, they actually made a Rage and Steel. And it's Rage and Steel. There's not much to it. It's just a great truck with a decal and the badge and other stuff. But yeah, it's great. It's a great retro rebel Monster Classics. I've always loved this release of it. So the argument from RJ every year, and he even made it to the design team themselves, is to make this as a retro rebel. It's so difficult to get things like this approved because it's so plain. I wish like they had a revamp of Rage and Steel like they did with Blacksmith, like sparks and like welding or everything to make it like more. But it's very difficult to get things like this approved just because it's so plain unless you're Gravedigger Primer. But yeah, it's a difficult argument. Maybe some year in the future we'll get a Rage and Steel. It is, I think it's a failed trademark, so it shouldn't be that hard to like do. But I don't know if this design would be so welcomed in the modern era.
It wouldn't be, but I mean, it's just like the people who, I mean, I guess there's an argument for the Primer Digger because it's got the name, and that's why they'll pick it up. Yeah. But I mean,
Reggie still ain't no Gravedigger, son.
Yes, yeah. I know that. Go ahead, tell us about the real truck, please.
One more thing. The one way I could see this happening is if they do a retro 5-pack of not a specific truck, just like a retro 5-pack of retro trucks. That could be a very easy toss in amongst a Gravedigger Max D and El Toro Loco and something else. So Rage and Steel. But that would be maybe
like the other.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So okay, Phil, tell us about Rage and Steel.
Why, yes. Okay, folks. I see a lot of hot takes by the Monster Duck in the comments. I like one of them where he said, hot take, no one knew about this truck of Pablo and put it on the map. That's 100% true, guys. Raging Steel was like the back burner body. This is like NEA. This is like
that might be what I like it, you know.
Like this is like it's that truck that's around, but like it's not in a World Finals. It's not getting there. It's like it's just there. All right. It's like Blue Thunder, current time. How can you say that? Okay.
No, it is. It is. It really is.
Raging Steel. So the idea when this truck was like around, they had this concept they'd sell sponsorship every week to make like a different truck. They only got it like once. That's the Orlando Rage. Other than that, it was like, well, we didn't sell sponsorship this week. Put the Raging Steel name on it. It's like Work. I know there's like old articles saying like Werner Trucking. They were kind of negotiating with some stuff, never got done. So it's just Orlando Rage was like the only thing. Or no, 98 Rock many moons later.
And that may be why I like this body so much, because nobody likes it.
But like this body, like it never like ran on like Scott Hartsock's second truck would run this body. Like it was just like pawned around. And hot take, I don't think this is the right color gray. I think the gray.
Yeah, I think the real truck was silver, and this is gray just to make it easy on a toy.
A little more, but
so let me grab a real life reference photo closest.
Listen, while you grab a reference picture from the Forbidden website.
There you go.
Guys, okay, yeah, maybe.
They went a little too bright. However, I also want to mention that they did a graphic rehaul with this, by the way. If you notice, the graphic is recreated. This bar is not the same way. Mike Bev, shout out to him. He did a body for BeamNG Monsters. And
guys, this is 100% community involvement truck.
Yeah,
this is like, we're like, hey, if we were to make a classics line, which truck should we make? If High Roller wasn't first, it was Raging Steel. Like everybody was trampling over each other, like High Roller, Raging Steel, High Roller, Raging Steel, and we got both of them. So, we got it, guys. We did it. And you know what? We never make it again. Let the classics live. Don't Spin Master. Don't touch Raging Steel.
No, don't listen to that man. Do not listen to that man.
Stop making all these trucks. Redoing the anniversary truck. Do your own thing. Figure it out. We don't.
It's too late, Phil. He's already talked to the design team.
Think about it.
No,
I do want to mention, actually, to make Phil a little happier, there was a second body of Raging Steel. If you look here, this is the secondary edition. It's like a blue gray.
That's what I associate Raging Steel with.
Yeah, that's one I associate with mostly too. So
Spin Master, do this version.
That's what I was going to say.
Young goodness.
However, I want to pause. Raging Steel is a really, like I said, a really good concept. They just need to do an art layout for it. If Neil was still around, I'd say, Neil, please do something with this, because he could totally do something like a monster with like fire and stuff. It would just be awesome. But the logo's great. This bar needs to go, and then you're good. So I just think it's a tough argument for modern day things. It's like it's the start of a really good graphic scheme that just never got off never got moving.
Guys, this truck is a nothing.
I think Neil, you be quiet. I think if Neil got his hands on this, he could have created something everybody would have liked.
He probably made this logo and this.
Yeah, he probably did. Honestly,
yeah, but I think this is probably him.
You like it.
Yeah, I think maybe the other way to argue this would be like a World Finals retro pack, where it was maybe like toss it in, but it's still it's like hitters.
It gives them a reason to use Raging Steel and Blacksmith.
You know what Hot Wheels should have done? They should have made a Raging Steel with their own design. That would have ruined it. That would have ruined it, Phil. Stop talking about stuff like that. That would have ruined it. That's Raging Steel can't live like this in today's world. We need to have
it can't. I agree with that.
Have like a 3D metal beam. Like
it needs a graphics recall.
Earthshaker's like demented cousin.
I knew this was going to happen with Raging Steel, so I set like a specific amount of time aside for Raging Steel's discussion.
Sorry.
But sadly, we got to end it there for Raging Steel number 34 of the series. For its time, it was awesome to have, but now as much as I'd love to see it on the Spin Master tooling,
I can see it. I'd be happy with it.
Let's talk about the donut truck.
Yeah. One more thing about that. If
Wait,
they were
you
still
can't end the discussion and just start talking about it again.
It's just my gears are still grinding for it. If they had the normal double pack still, like not thematic, that could have been another way to just kind of toss it in, but there's just no way. So anyway, Donut Patrol, welcome back, 5.0 tooling. If there's no official name for it, I don't think there is for that actual like police car tooling. Donut Patrol's here. So this is the revamp of 5.0. Basically the same schemes. Like we have the blue, obviously new graphics for it, but other than that, it's just like a really, really basic Raging Steel cop car. So there's Donut Patrol. Also, the motor was flipped around in placement. Originally, 5.0's motor was facing towards the driver. Now it's facing away, which like people are.
They're gonna have a bad day if they fire up that truck.
Yeah. So that, and then it says to protect and serve. Shoot, I forgot does it say donuts? I think it says donuts.
Yeah, I think it's donuts.
Oh no, sorry. To protect and to serve donuts. Does it say donuts or does it say to dunk? Oh no, both sides are different. To protect and serve donuts, and then so the other side says to protect and to dunk. So okay. Anyway, there's Donut Patrol. Go ahead, Phil. Talk about this if you can.
Well, yes, I can. Why they put this blower facing the wrong way is very mysterious. And someone else pointed out, was like, yeah, okay, it's back. But what in the world is going on here? So for this original, guys, you look back at 5.0, this looks really similar to 5.0 in almost every capacity. They should have put an obnoxious pink donut on this truck. That's
really,
what
they should have, yeah.
But yeah. Donut Patrol, cop cars back here. They don't use this tool more, man.
Yeah.
I think this could have a lot more legs.
They need to use it more. They should have used it more, and I don't know if they can use it in today, but if they can, go ahead. If not, never mind.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, it's fun to have here, but I just felt this looked way too close to 5.0 for it to stand on its own. It's like Shark Creek is just bright blue and all this other stuff. So it's differentiators from its grandfathers before, but oh well.
And I forgot to mention why I like the Rage and Steel toy. It's got the badge on it. Carry on.
Stop it.
Carry on.
Okay. No more Rage and Steel. Donut Patrol.
I'm sorry.
And now we have Mutt Sets Hot Wheels. Another. It's weird how they go back and forth. Another graphics Mutt thing here with a ton of paint overlaps with graphics. So Phil's like rolling over there. So there's that. And that's about it for this. So if you guys want to talk about it, go ahead.
It does use the old scheme. You know, it says to say beat that.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's
this version that we're actually looking at is the second release. I think.
Oh.
So I'm looking at the check. So it comes out. This is renumber here, number 35. Donut Patrol's 35 as well.
Oh, yeah, here it is again.
The original one is number 45, which we will talk about. Actually, be like our first truck for next episode.
Yeah, next time. So we'll come back to that.
I think this one came out first. I'm looking at the original checklist. It was supposed to be 45, but for some reason, I remembered the 35 one coming out because I remembered that different flag. So if you go back to our 35 one, which is right here, comes with just a generic Monster Jam flag, which is why I think 45 is the proper, but 45 comes with a regular Hot Wheels flag. So, man, so I'm getting old, folks. I think 35 came out first, even though I just contradicted myself because of that flag stuff. I think
Rage and Steel, yep.
I think because of the flag, knock it off. It's I think this one came out first. I don't know why this happened, but no one's gonna complain.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Oh, I mean, look what we did.
Yeah, and it is a new okay, so we complain about chrome, and this is the truck that always had either gold chrome or a orange hub, and you get this chrome hub, and you're like, hey, okay.
Yeah, so there it is. We'll talk about it again, so let's not spend much time on it. 35 and then 36. We just can't get away from this truck. Scarlet Bandit's back again. This time it's flexing this hot pink color, which I guess they're trying to like shift from that dim pink to the purple from Spectral Flame to this now hot pink. They're just trying everything to sell this truck, and it's just still not working. Like they can change it as much as they want. It's just like no one wants to pick it up. And not to say it's a bad truck. I love Scarlet Bandit. It's just like it doesn't sell well. They even try like upping the graphic sizes and stuff, and it just doesn't work out. So Phil, let's hear about why this happened.
Well, it's the same thing as Bounty Hunter. CSK Auto, Checker Shucks Kragen, no longer in business. So off those go, even though they use a picture of the Checker Shucks Kragen Scarlet Bandit on the packaging.
Oh,
yeah, I guess the hot pink, it's not accurate to like the truck anymore, but I like the hot pink better because it's more prominent. But man, guys, I am so sorry. This didn't sell well either.
No.
I liked it. It's my favorite Scarlet Bandit.
In the entire existence of Scarlet Bandit, this truck has never sold well. It is not a knock onto Two Extreme Racing or Streeton ever. But the Scarlet Bandit truck has never, ever, ever, ever sold well, ever. It's gotten a lot of love, and I'm sure it'll get some love in the future. But guys and gals and whoever, this truck does not sell well, ever.
I like this one. This one was my favorite one of Scarlet Bandits. Probably just because of that hot pink. I like the neon colors. This one was my favorite, and that's all I got.
It looks a lot like our monster collecting palette here. I just noticed. So maybe Phil took inspiration from that.
Look, that's what I mean.
Think about what you're doing before
Take this to the bank.
So yeah, there's that Scarlet Bandit. So we won't waste much more time on that, but it's really cool. I do agree. Probably my favorite of the diecast release of Scarlet Bandit so far. We did discuss last episode, actually, before we pivot off, that they made a purple Scarlet Bandit instead of making it pink because pink is so associated with like high, expensive level, Redline Club exclusive Hot Wheels cars. So sadly, we don't get that, which would have been really, really cool. But maybe, just maybe, then it would have flew off the shelves like crazy. And maybe that would have helped them sell in the future. So that might have been a mistake on their part. But anyway, now we have one that was mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. At the beginning of the podcast mentioned here, which is the Felon. So the Felon now returning, or not returning, actually debuting in the diecast line. Again, Mark Schrader. So we've had Devastator for so many years, and now we have the Felon. So here it is. Phil, please. Actually, one more thing, Black Chassis, but Phil, enlighten us on the Felon.
Yes, it's the Devastator's alter ego. We haven't seen it in quite a number of years, but now with the Basil brothers being the owners of Devastator, I'm sure we'd love to see. I'm sure the Felon name is going to pop up one of these days when they get a second truck rolling. But Felon was a obvious change since we had Devastator so many times, and this is really right around the time. So Devastator body existed for a number of years before it actually ran Monster Jam. So now it's actually starting to appear in Monster Jam events, so it makes a lot more sense. So here's Felon. Don't be fooled by the number. It is number 37 out of 75. This came out in one of the last cases of the year. This was a late release. But they had already numbered out. But it was definitely a good one to end the year on. One of the later trucks. So an easy layup. It's a new truck for everybody. Everybody bought it.
Yeah, and I remember this coming out late in the year too.
I never understood. Yeah, door handle. So they kind of got fancy with the detail. I never understood kind of the graphic plan on Felon. That's like Mark Schrader's birthday. That's the inmate number. I'm pretty sure. Okay, that's cool. But like the design, I just never get it. It's like I don't think Hot Wheels designed this. By the way, I know they designed Devastator, but not. I don't know if they did. I don't think they designed this, especially because the graphics are just a hair bit blur. But man, I just don't understand the graphics scheme of Felon. It's like an eyeball looking at you, like, hey.
Yeah, like, I don't get it.
Bricks. I like the scheme. I just never quite understood it.
Yeah.
And we talk about the hubcaps. The real truck runs like sewer hubcaps there, wheel covers there. Not going to get it here, but chrome does work well. One of the few instances where chrome does work well.
Yeah.
I just remember it coming out. I just remember it coming out late in that year. Wanted to get my hands on it because it was a new truck, and I mean, no one complained. More probably community input, or did this debut, Phil?
Phil,
what?
Did this debut, or was this community input, or both?
Community. Actually, I think community is the point where me mentioned this.
Hey, okay. Well, I said your name for a reason.
All right.
I don't want to take the credit for it. Okay, Felon. There you go. I do recall this in the future years peg warming very, very hard, though. Unfortunately,
I think we should stop on this next truck, Ryan, and just end it right here.
What's next?
You think so?
Yeah.
No, we'll go to 44.
Sure?
Okay, we'll go to 40. We'll go to 40. Time flies.
Everybody's going to bed. All right, keep going.
Okay. So this one, time flies, and
Okay, you know what? No, I'm gonna run you over because you're gonna ruin everyone's day with this.
Yeah,
Like,
he's gonna be like, "Oh, this isn't accurate."
I just see it now.
No,
okay.
What are you talking about? No, stop. No, I was going to say this is very accurate, and Spin Master did a horrible job. So
He's
maybe
okay, no, Phil, let him talk. Let him talk.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say this is one of the when I compare the two companies, this is one of the bigger like wins over Spin Master. Spin Master debuted their time flies and like cut in. I don't know what they were doing. But Wildflower and Time Flies both suffered from that weird body design. Hot Wheels, however, did for some pieces here aren't very accurate, but the front and the whole cab here and everything else to do with this truck, like it's perfect. Like they actually molded the shocks on, they modified the roll cage for this, and yeah, it's just a really, really good truck casting wise. Again, not 100% accurate, but if you compare it to Spin Master, it beats it every time. It's unfortunate, however, that they had this Time Flies casting and never did the classic, which I really want Spin Master to still do, even though they have that really not good casting. And the yellow, which we did get from Spin Master, but it wasn't this tooling. They also never went ahead and made Wildflower, which we asked for years and years and years. And I think she was supposed to get one, and then they were like, no. So there's Time Flies. Phil, you can go ahead and go now.
Man, I get nervous with you. You like to ruin everybody's day with some of these things. But all right, kids, this is the #1 truck in 2010.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
it's up there. Yeah, it was up there for me too.
This is it. This is #1. Okay, take all the nostalgia away. This is it. This was hardcore community feedback, and this is a massive retool and like a chassis retool. A lot of work had to go in to get Time Flies going here, and this because of all that work. That's why the numbers, the case assortments get all goofy because this was the last truck released in 2010. It's a late release. It's a case after the Felon. That's how late it is. Didn't even come out in case with the Felon. So this is cool. I love the front detail where it shows like the old Time Flies and the grill. The real truck always runs out. The yellow one now runs both. The schemes there. A lot of attention went into this. I think like the shock tower is like the one discrepancy color that is like one of the shock towers isn't supposed to be red. I don't know, but guys, this was such a winner. It was like I can't believe it when Time Flies made it out. I mean, it was like such a late release. There was like they couldn't even find a picture of the real truck. They threw a render on there and called it a day. Like, here's your Time Flies. Man, we only get Time Flies the next year, and like that's it. That's like the right, or we sneaks in one more time. I don't remember, but
we get a release with a variation actually, a very minor time.
Okay, gosh, CTX Boyardee. I that brings you right back to feels there. Okay, so Kelvin Raymer took Time Flies to Hot Wheels so they could see it in person. That's how much they championed to get this truck. Kelvin physically took his truck to Hot Wheels and set it up outside of Mattel headquarters. And they just, so they could see it and take pictures. Like, I will bring it to you. I totally forgot about that. And man, I remember the late Patrick Carroll, friend of ours, man, I remember he was part of that too. And that was a big part of the feedback. Patrick was a big part of getting this going too. And yeah, like that's the point where community got so much involved. Kelvin took his truck to Hot Wheels. It's like,
so cool.
And just set it up in the parking lot. It's like, you're making my toy. That's basically it. That's why it's like such a. I totally forgot about that story.
That in and of itself. I mean, the truck had enough heat, and it's just perfection of it being truck of the year. But that story, yeah, it can be above High Roller, but High Roller's #2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Time Flies. I was looking at a reference image of the real truck. I always knew, like, when I got this truck, I was like, something's not right. It's this shock setup here. It's a little something about it. I think it's just they added too much to
like
it.
That second
but
tower
besides
is
that,
blower pipes, and they just painted them red like the shocks.
Yeah, that's
is that what that's supposed to be?
That's what it is.
Oh, I always thought they added another shock tower. That's
like
really cool.
Can't be choosers. I know them blowers are way too big, but it's like beggars can't be choosers. The fact that they're able to make this and just completely change their entire tooling, nobody was going to complain about it. So
I never knew they were blower pipes. So thank you for telling me that those are the actual pipes of the motor. That makes so much more sense now. If only they were painted chrome, of course. But okay, that clears up 11 years of me wondering why they added another shock tower. which makes this very complete, accurate design. Only thing is they never added a windshield, which was odd. But anyway, besides the point. Yeah, this is a hyper accurate model by Hot Wheels, so I'm very happy with this. Spin Master should definitely take the notes from this one for Wildflower as well, because Wildflower is a very similar style setup. So yeah, there's that, and then 2 more to go. Phil wants to cut it early because he's tired. The Cowboy Spectre.
Oh, I have that one. I have that one sitting right over there. Yep, that was my favorite.
Last. I think it's the last Cowboy we get, if I'm right on that. But yes, Spectre Flame. I'll let him check. But Spectre Flame charcoal color again. I say it's not very noticeable, but for this scheme, it's very noticeable because you have bright decals on this background, and I think that in any bright lighting, you'll definitely tell it's not a solid black scheme.
We can throw light on it if we need to. Yeah, the black Spectre Flames, we've talked about them where it's a little, can be hit or miss. This one's kind of cool. I think it accents a lot of the graphics, the current graphics. It makes them pop a little better. I don't think anybody's, although I don't think anybody's lining up to say that Cowboy is their favorite Spectre Flame.
No.
Well, see, that's where I come in and make it stupid and say that was my favorite spectacular flame of that year. If not only because I'm an Oklahoma State Cowboy fan, but yeah, I love Cowboy, and I like this one. This was my favorite.
Weird.
I'm sorry, Phil. God, I mean, we can go on about you. Carry on.
All right, and then to finish up our discussion for tonight, we have another Mud Trucks, which is the El Toro Loco. Now, I'm not sure why Brian's is so bright, but let me grab mine. Phil, if you want to talk about it so I can show you guys something special.
This isn't even a mud truck El Toro. This is like El Toro driving through the desert. It's like, looks a lot.
It's like an El Paso El Toro Loco.
And so I'm not sure.
That. Yeah,
I'm not sure if mine's a variation or not. Let me solo myself. But mine has like this weird thing about it where either it was a factory, like someone dropped it through a shredder. But if you see here, the mouth decal is shredded on both sides. And then the mud is just all over the thing. So I don't know what happened to mine.
That's got to be an error, man. I mean, I don't think
it's a really weird error for it to be matching.
But they're not making a jawless El Toro Loco.
Yeah, but it's like it got torn up.
Battle, folks.
I will say this is a good sidebar that there is a large contingent of people that do believe in heavy mud and light mud variants on these mud trucks, and I think there might be 1 or 2 of them on the Pat website that just need to not be there. I don't believe that.
I want to mention one more thing. So look at the windshield here on Brian's, and then look at the windshield here on mine. I actually painted on the windshield on mine, so I'm not sure what's going on with this thing.
That's
but
that was very
this is a weird one.
Ryan's
there's some.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually saw this. It was the only one at Toys R Us that day that had the like chipped up teeth and the mud on the windshield. I passed up that clean windshield one for this, so I'm glad I did because now we have that historic lesson about it. But I don't know what this is, if it's a variation, if it's an error. But yeah, it's weird for them to paint that windshield there. I'll have to look at some on eBay to see if there's any others like that. But that was the only one that day out of like 10 because there was a peg warmer of it. But yeah.
Yours looks like an Anaheim mud, and this one looks like an El Paso mud.
Yeah. You can see also the paint here on the top, but mine has the paint inside the horns area too. So I don't know. And yes, heavy mud variants, I don't believe in them. Brian believes in them, so you'll see them appear in later years.
We won't acknowledge them on here as intellectuals.
Those are going off like normal.
I don't think we talked about the blind man variants. It's just only reason I cut it short a little bit is that this is getting a little long. Well, I'm just a lot of left. Nah.
Wow, we got a lot. Phil, you sure you don't want to go for the last 4?
All right, Phil, fine. We'll do it.
I was going to say we have so much to talk about next.
That way, if we can, maybe we could take questions at the end of the next week. Or something.
Okay, so continuing 4 more. Clydesdale returning again. This is like you said.
Okay,
Hot Wheels redesign. It's in the classic series, which is funny to me.
Yeah. So here's the thing with Clydesdale, and I'll run you over. So, gosh, when this was named for the classics line, it was like, wow, we're getting a Clydesdale and classics. And then, like, you see, like, Cyclops is coming out and Survivor. Everyone's like getting jittery. They're like, what Cyclops are they making? Are they making the original pink one, like old school from the 80s, like Clydesdale, like, or maybe they're making like one of the more current schemes that just we never got it. Like, it was so many possibilities. It was like, oh man, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And then like it comes out, it's the Hot Wheels original design from 2005. It was like, oh, well, bummer. Now the original from 2005, I think, is on chrome rims, so this is white. So it is a different variant for the people from before. But
looking at this
what a missed opportunity.
That's what I was just looking at this now. Guys, we should have foreshadowed 2017 Team Mints. We should have known. We should have known.
They had one up. It was they had one up their sleeve.
But it's funny. It's funny. It's like a revolution. Every year with Spin Masters, Retro Rebel, Gravedigger, it's like, it's going to be awesome. And then it's like Red Primer, Grandma Gravedigger. What was the first one that we had, Retro Rebel? Did we even get a Gravedigger Retro Rebel?
No, Gravedigger the Legend. Wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Gravedigger Legend. And then they're like, this year, Purple Gravedigger Legend. And it's like, oh, it's the same one. So, yeah, it happens. And there's a balancing act. Luckily, I know what one it's going to be, so I can pivot the community into a less raging format when they find out that it's not a special one. So this, unfortunately, I'm sure at the time people were not too happy that they waste the spot. They really did. This is a hard waste.
This one hurt. You expected Bennett Clark's pink one, not this one, or even the blue one.
They had issues getting a hold of Bennett, and so they're like, "All right, we're making Clydesdale." It's like, did you ask Bennett? And they're like, and it's like, but we're making Clyde. Like, there are some real optimistic people that are like, we're making Clydesdale. Okay, we're just gonna make a Clydesdale. And then they're like, but you need to. It's like, man, I can't get a hold of him. It's like, I'm sorry, we have to do the scheme we did because that's the one that we did. And it's like, but it's like they set their standard of like, okay, like they're planning out the year. Okay, on the to-do list, making a Clydesdale. Call Bennett Clark. It's like, oops, Bennett.
Forgot to do that.
Shucks. We already started Clydesdale, so
the next time we'll see like a community hype for it's called flashbacks when we talk about this, but like a retro truck. It's going to be the King Crunch of 2018, and they're like, oh my god, they just made like one the year before. It's that I'm losing the name here.
The Scott Stevens, the original.
Scott Stevens. I'm trying to. Douglas is running through my mind. Scott Stevens.
Why? All right.
Yeah, they make that one, and then next year they're going to do a King Crunch again. And we're like, they just did this really cool one. What can they possibly do? And they're like,
ruin it. Got you.
Yeah.
But this one fortunately, this one had the hype of all the other classics, where it's like, oh my god, we got Cyclops, and you'll see some of the other classics that are like more like, how the heck did that even happen? But it was like, we got this one. Oh well, fellas, I didn't have it, so I bought it.
Luckily, we have only two trucks that are luckily we have two trucks that are really fast. So martial law, here it is again.
We released number 6.
Yeah.
And this, so I think, pegged one. Sorry, guys. The lore of 2009 died off. Nobody wanted it. This should have got a Spectre Flame or something. They should have done some of the poor martial law.
Yeah, but well, the blue rims are still useful to rip off during that time period. So there's that. Okay, and then we have another repeat. A plastic-based turtle number 2. This is the blue. They actually added a specialized recolor of a Photoshop image.
Kind of weird how they decided to change our Ninja Turtle here. Just trying to be cute and funny with, 2010. Like, we're changing everything. So
it would have been really cool to see this in real life. Now looking at this, I love the blue. Blue voice crack. That's
like,
how you know
we don't get. Yeah, guys. I don't know which. We talk about this. I don't know who goes to what, but like orange gets a mud truck. Or like a change. Well, it's regular, but it changes the logo. We'll talk about it in a couple of years. And then no purple. Purple's never seen again. Until
now.
Like 2 days ago, Hot Wheels monster trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not much to mention with this.
Michelangelo is my favorite. So seeing that set come out, I was like, finally.
Let's push to 45. I'm going to be weird, okay? Because we already talked about 45.
Okay, fine. 44. Before we get to another truck we've already seen, 44 is an awesome release. I love this Spectre Flame release. This is Monster Mutt. Last time we saw Monster Mutt Dalmatian with the Spectre Flame is kind of odd, where they didn't add the white undertone. This time they smartened up. For most of the graphics that require them, the teeth and the logos, they have the white underneath, but everything else is still Spectraflame, that reflective, like clear decal, which is fine by me. They corrected what needed to be corrected, and it looks so awesome. So I love this Spectraflame. It's one of my favorite ones. Comparing to Dalmatian, it's far, it's more superior to that. So awesome. Also, this actually allows for you to see the little secret behind Spectrachrome or Spectraflame. The Zamac body right here is actually bare, and they didn't paint it, so you can see that they're painting on top of a chrome polished body. That's really cool. With that said, I'll turn it over to them. But yeah, I love Monster Mutt, and I love this Spectraflame release.
This one was a good one. Funny enough, this will probably make collectors cringe, but I have another one in the house, perfectly fine. But I just saw my other one in the garage today, with the front axle completely ripped off from an Encore. So yeah, I like this one. I had a bunch of them because, again, throw it out in the carpet league or out in the real dirt. So yeah, I liked it.
You're rough with your toys.
Yeah, I got Gravedigger panels, like Gravedigger truck snapped in half. We got a bunch of stuff, Phil. We don't throw anything away here. You know that.
Yes, I know. That's why you got a lot of garbage a couple years ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anyways,
yeah, no, I like this Mutt. I think it this Spectraflame Mutt I think pairs well with that Dalmatian from 2008. I think that they live with the same kind of spirit, and I just like this more interpretation with this Spectraflame. I think it pops a little better. A lot more copper. There's a brown Spectraflame truck that comes out in 2011 that is like yucky, but this is not. So until that, we appreciate this one.
And sadly, in 2011, we don't receive Monster Mutt Rottweiler as a Spectraflame. So they don't complete the trio. The trio
they got yucky, but
and, to their defense, Rottweiler would have been that like charcoal chrome. So, but I was always upset that they didn't complete the trios. Whenever they did something with one, they never did it with all three. They did like one, then the other. I think even does Monster Mutt get a mud tread? I'm trying to look at my collection. No. Okay, so Monster Mutt doesn't get a mud tread, but Dalmatian gets a mud tread. Rottweiler doesn't get a mud tread. So it's like if you're gonna do one, you got to do all three. But now we have so many dog pound trucks, it doesn't really matter. But anyway,
anyways,
since Phil wants to be odd, we're
okay. 45, folks. We talked about it. It's that Hot Wheels mud truck. Yeah, this came out later. I'm pretty sure this was the later one because the flag is different. The flag insert is a regular Hot Wheels flag. So I don't know why this was the number where it was supposed to be. So like there was some botch with the number 35, and it came out with like a generic flag. It was like whoopsies. But that came out for yeah.
But yeah.
We don't have anything else to say because we already said it. So
guys, 2.5 hours here on 2010. We love this line, and we're going to talk about so much more next week on part 2.
Yeah, so much more. Oh my gosh.
So much more, guys. The greatest line, arguably, until we can get maybe Raging back or a Primer Digger.
This is a love letter. I didn't really see any questions if somebody had any real hardcore pertinent question about this.
I think everyone knows the idea of 2010, and they're just.
This is a love letter, man. I mean, this is the game changer. This sets the bar.
So I'm just going to look real quick. Okay, fun fact. I didn't even need this backwards bob because it's the same one as last year, but I got it for the flag because I love backwards bob.
That's what I got it for too.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's 2010 part.
I think that's it, folks. I mean, gosh, this is a long one. Everyone loves 2010, man. Rewatch this episode as much as you can. You're going to learn something new. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. Again, this is such a fun collectible line, and we'll try to talk about in detail. We'll definitely see where we're at on time next week. How high that bar is for 2010 and why really it's never been topped. I mean, you got a lot of close calls, but just the lore of the line. It's like unless Spin Master or Hot Wheels just is like, you know what, here's our pen and paper, you just figure it out. Like nothing like this will ever come close again. It's
It won't.
We champion when Ryan petitions for Bulldozer, but imagine an entire line full of bulldozers, because that's basically what 2010 was.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, sadly, no, not going to happen again. There's new rules, and we get 30%. So that's what it is. So 30% are collector based, and then the other 70% are kids. So that's like Nitro Neon and all the other stuff. So,
you can't. One of old Phil's famous sayings: "You can't have too much of a good thing, because that's what makes it special."
Yep.
Okay, Phil.
Way too much of a good thing.
What a nice quote to end off on. So we'll be back next Monday, which will be here like that, because it's like I end the podcast and then like a day later I'm like, oh my god, tomorrow's a podcast. So it's like Groundhog Day here.
I got now, so
I'll see you guys in a day in my time period. But until then, we want to thank you for sticking with us. If you'd stick with us for the entire episode, and we'll see you guys next week. So have a great week. And until then, this is Phil, RJ, and Ryan signing out.
No, you're Ryan. I'm Phil.
Oh, here we go again. We're signing out now.